Was over there messing around on Twitter and forgot I'd started a show. What's up, guys? How are you tonight? This is Monkey in the Morning. I'm the Ranting Monkey. We're here to talk today about the aliens because we got new alien news. It's a sentence I didn't think I'd say in my lifetime. How are you guys? Hope you're well. I am beat down, happy but beat down. So we're just gonna skip over that part. No, we're not actually, because I do want to talk about this. Um, I am out of shape. You guys know that. I've mentioned this many times. And because of that, even the slightest amount of exercise makes me just feel like, whew, I've been pumping iron and shit, which I haven't clearly. But I've been trying these days, guys, trying to keep moving, just to keep doing it. And I've been doing good with it. But boy, does it make me tired. So yeah, I just woke up maybe an hour and a half ago and like what should we talk about tonight? And I was remember, oh yeah, there's aliens out there in the world today. We should, and not the illegal variety, which is what we normally talk about, but extraterrestrial stuffs. Now, in fairness, nobody said that extraterrestrials have landed, just their ships. We'll get to that in a little bit, though. Yeah, it's I didn't talk about it yesterday. I knew of the story yesterday, but I hadn't read it, so I didn't want to, I'm not one of those people. I'm gonna talk about this because it's popular, which would probably make me more popular, but is what it is. I'd rather be informed than, everybody else. That's so fucked. That is so petty. Oh, I'm so sorry to those that I was just petty to. I'm not really, but that was really petty, wasn't it? I want to be informed on it. So I stopped and I did some reading. And I'm actually glad I did because I probably wouldn't have seen the second article I want to cover on this when we get to this. Um, did you guys see Tucker Carlson's video on Twitter? I know a lot of you guys aren't on Twitter, so you really should be, if for nothing else, to watch Tucker now. I guess. No, I don't care if you watch Tucker, but I do enjoy the videos he's put out so far on Twitter. And then today's episode 1, which I guess this means it's officially his kickoff, right? On this one, he talks about a few things: the dam being blown up in Russia, or in Ukraine, but in Russian controlled territory. They keep saying it on the news: dam blown up in Ukraine. What part of Ukraine? It's a part of Ukraine that actually is, related to Crimea rather than Kiev. You know what I mean? That this is Russian controlled territory. Somebody blew up a dam, destroying villages and putting a nuclear reactor at risk. Good morning, monkey. Please take care of yourself. Thank you, Buddha. I appreciate that. I am taking care of myself. Look, I need this pain. You know, the no pain, no gain thing. This is stuff I need. I will survive unless I stay as lazy as I have been and don't actually get exercise. I'm not pushing myself to a part where I'm, in any kind of danger, but this is necessary. It's actually necessary. So the whole media is like, oh my God, the Russians blew up a dam. The Russians blew up a dam. It's not from Crimea. It's north of that. I'm 90% sure. It's not in Crimea, but it was, how do I want to say this? It benefits Crimea. Good morning, Nuts. How are you, sweetheart? Crimea, the region no one gave a shit about in the 06-16, or sorry, 08-16 time span. Yeah, that one. But this is a dam that it doesn't, it's not like very beneficial to the Ukrainian people. This is for the Russian people in Crimea, in the areas that are Russian controlled right now. And they're like, oh, that damn Vladimir Putin. Why would he do this? Why would he blow this up? Do you guys remember at the beginning of the war? One of the first things that the old Ukrainians did, they blew up a bridge between Russia and Crimea. They just blew it the fuck up, put a big ass hole in it, and then the Russians had to go in there and fix it. Remember that? So of course the Ukrainians would never do anything that would negatively affect the Crimea region. Ah, so it's interesting that piece of shit had something to do with it. Uh, we blew it up. I mean, it makes sense for us to do. We are assholes like that. Amanda, I don't know if we would go that far. I'm not saying we wouldn't. I mean, I have no doubt we blew up the Nord Stream. I have no doubt in my mind that was us. But to actually blow up the dam like that, that seems a little bit. Oh, sorry guys. Yeah, I am on the Starlink, so we are going to drop repeatedly tonight. Lost you at interesting. Oh, I said what's interesting is how the media is covering this and how they refuse to acknowledge that it could have been Zelensky. Oh, they said it wasn't them. Okay, that's what they said about the Poland strike. I mean, I'm sorry. The accidental the accidental strike that totally wasn't them. It was the Russians. Oh wait, it was them, but it was an accident. Hang on one sec. All right, that just a moment seemed a little longer than just a moment. God, I hate dead air. My bad, guys. Hello, hello, hello. Um, so they keep treating Zelensky like he would never do anything wrong. Never do anything wrong. And I don't understand why. It's not like he's a nice guy. You know, they love to talk about how Putin silences his critics. So does Zelensky. He's throwing people in prison for it. Ask Coach Red Pill how they like dissenting opinion over there in Ukraine right now. Um, I really don't, and I get it. I mean, I do because they're a bunch of shitbags who there's a war agenda going on right now, and for some reason the press is all on board with it. Everybody wants us to go in there and get into a fight with Russia. This isn't our fight. It's not our fight. These are two shitbag countries duking it out for land that doesn't benefit us at all. Fuck it, let them fight. This isn't the annexation of Poland in World War II. So for the love of fuck, please stop using that analogy. It's not even close. However, that's how it's being treated. And when you see stuff like this, go back to the Polish attack. Bring up Poland again. Go back to the Polish attack where they blow up a farm and they just happen to hit the way station of the farm where they just happened to kill two Polish people. And when it happens, what did the Ukrainians say? They came out and went, "No, that wasn't us. That was the Russians. Had to be the Russian. We couldn't even do that. That wasn't us." And then it's like, "Oh yeah, that was them." And they're like, "Oh yeah, that was us, but it was totally on accident. We were trying to shoot down a Russian missile." How bad is your fucking aim? Um, I know where Russia is. We know where most of the troop placements are, and I know where Poland is. How the fuck did you accidentally just happen to kill a couple of Polish people? Okay. Sure, why not? It was totally accidental. They totally weren't just trying to pull NATO into the fight. Nah, bruh. It was we misidentified our own missile hitting over there. Yeah. It was just one of those surface to air missiles that's specifically to take out other missiles that errantly landed in Poland. What? Inept false flag, 100% faithless. I do not believe for 1 second that that was accidental. Not for a minute. Bullshit. You fuck you. Now, if it had just blown up in a field, someplace where your chance of actually hitting somebody is pretty slim. Okay, maybe. But you happen to hit the way station, probably the easiest place to target somebody? I mean, other than the house itself? Eh, sure, why not? Don't worry though, Lindsey Graham said it was the best money we've ever spent. He said this to Vladimir Zelensky. He said this motherfucker told Vladimir Zelensky that the money we have given Ukraine is the best money the United States has ever spent. Let that sink in. Not fighting the Nazis. Nah. Not fighting to end slavery. Nope, wasn't that either. Um, our own revolution. Not wasn't that money. What what's the best money we've ever spent? Oh yeah, giving a shitbag over there a whole bunch of money because the Russians are fucking with him because he was being a douchebag. What's his kickback? That's a great answer. Great question, isn't it, Faithless? That's what that little shit said. Diesel Dave, thank you. Our government is absolutely corrupt. I don't disagree at all. Not even a little bit. I was gonna play the Tucker clip, but I just can't. I switched to my other internet because without Jack here, I can't tell when I go quiet. And while it can still happen on this internet, it won't happen as often. So we're not in the video realm tonight. God bless, man. Biden spent trillions. Bring me better internet, you fucking retard. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah, yeah. Aliens. Aliens. That's what this is all about. So I guess we should jump into the big story, right? One of the other things Tucker brought up was the alien story. And I'd seen the headline going around. I hadn't really looked into it. And one thing Tucker said that really made me curious because I wasn't sure I was even going to dig into this one, right? It's the kind of thing we would talk about, but not necessarily when it first blows up. But the one thing he said to me, well, not to me, to all of us, was that the whistleblower was credible. Now, what the whistleblower has, and I think I'll pull up the one story, give you guys something else to look at on the screen, at least, besides my lovely avatar. Look how cute he is. No, that's not what I wanted to do. No, that's not what I want to do either. I want to do this. I do this for a living, you guys. Intelligent officials say the U.S. has retrieved craft of non-human origin. There you go. Hey, Monkey, I told you yesterday. I believe it or not, I see headlines before you guys tell me. Or if you mean that he was credible, I missed that in chat, so I apologize. Or if I did see it in chat, it was something that just sometimes I'm talking. Anyhow, if you want someone to help in case your net dies, I'm free. I appreciate it, but I'm good. I'm good. I have a lot to talk about, and I was really hoping Jack would be here just for the alien nature of this, because this is the kind of thing me and him talk about a lot. But yeah, this is one I can absolutely hang on my own. I appreciate the offer though. Tucker Carlson saying that this guy is credible. It's a weird thing to say. I mean, I guess we're still at the point where we're pretending that aliens don't exist, or that some people are. And again, I'm not saying aliens have ever landed on the planet until this, but aliens, the chance of aliens not existing in the universe is smaller than the chance of them existing in the universe. That's just mathematically true. So the idea that, oh no, aliens, we still treat it as this taboo where, and part of this is government propaganda itself, where for the longest time the government wouldn't even acknowledge that they were looking into UFOs, right? They're they're over there like, nah, no, nah, no, you're crazy if you say that stuff. And it was repeated by everybody. The media, if you came out and said, I believe in aliens, like, what's wrong with you? We should get you in a padded room. It became this thing. And for the longest time, if you even with the mathematical probability that there are aliens somewhere else, whether they're intelligent or not, there are aliens somewhere else. Oh no, they would treat you like the special kid, like you're drooling on yourself while licking windows. So we had in the 70s, they finally acknowledged that they're kind of looking into it, right? But there's nothing there. There's nothing there. And in 2017, after video had been leaked repeatedly, the videos that were leaked and finally acknowledged in 2017 had been out there for a while. They'd been out there. And the Navy and the Pentagon was like, looks like CGI to me. But in 2017, there was a leak to the New York Times. And the New York Times, oddly, decided to run the story that said, yes, we don't know what it is. We're not saying it's aliens. We're not saying it's aliens, okay? But we don't know what the fuck it is. This is when Thunderfoot famously comes out and tells us that this one video of something, this little white object picked up by Navy radar from, I think it was F-16s. Was it F-16s or 18s? Anyway, this Navy radar. No, that's a seagull going Mach 5. You're like, no, see, by the angle of the jet, it just makes it look like it's crossing that water underneath. It's actually not moving that fast. Yeah, physicist or whatever the fuck he's supposed to be. But the Navy comes out and went, yeah, that's real. We don't know what the fuck it is. Making it an unidentified flying object. And since then, we had the 60 Minutes report where you had there were two Navy pilots, weren't they? There's these two Navy pilots who said their backseaters also saw this, where they're out on a mission over San Diego. Well, they're off the coast of San Diego. No, was it the coast of San Diego or Virginia Beach? I want to say San Diego. Don't quote me. But anyway, they're out on maneuvers. The ship's out to sea, and I believe it was the Nimitz carrier group, and they see something. They'd had all kinds of reports of the aerial phenomenon going on, and these two were dispatched. The squadron leader and his a wingman that they sent up with her, actually a wing woman, and they go out and they're flying around, and they see this object just plummet to the ground, just well, not to the ground, to the ocean. And so they fly over there and look, and there's water bubbling, and there's this what they called a tic tac shaped object flying around it. Thank you, Diesel Dave. There are over 100 million planets in the universe capable of supporting life as we know it. Yeah, and that's just life as we know it. Just life as we know it. The idea of other forms of life existing, it's possible. We have no idea. So, but I appreciate it. Tic Tacs. Orange were the best. Am I right? This tic tac shaped object, the squadron leader, he tells his wingman there, hey, hang up here. I'm gonna go in for a little closer look. And he goes in, and this tic tac shaped object starts mirroring his movements, and then pops up right in front of him, and then boom, gone. Not disappeared as in, like, oh, a cloaking device. No, fucker took off so fast they didn't even see it go. It was picked up by, I want to say again, the Nimitz radar a little bit later elsewhere. So, I mean, could they all four be lying? Sure. And they didn't talk to the backseaters there. So I can't say that they are agreeing to this, but the two pilots involved say this absolutely happened. The radar shit is there. They got picked up on the radar elsewhere. Oh no, it can't be aliens, man. We do not possess the technology. We just don't think it's yet moving around that fast. If we fired an F-14, an F-16, an F-18, an F-22, an F-35, anything at that speed, the wings would rip off. Cast One, thank you so much. We do have alien tech. Have you seen Pedro? He do thing he do things the car gringo Ford never thought of. Fair enough. No, no. We're talking alien from outer space. Different kind of alien. Different kind of alien. So I I don't want to say alien, right? I don't want to say alien because that makes you sound crazy because we've been taught over the years if you say alien, then you're crazy. Is it so crazy? Is it? Is it all that wild to think? And again, this comes down, I said this the other day, I've said this many times. This comes down to human arrogance. It can't be aliens because we haven't figured out how to do that. Well, if we haven't figured it out, obviously it can't be done. Do you remember in the 1700s, all the cell phones they had? Um, it can't be done because humans hadn't done it then, right? Oh, huh. How does that work exactly? If we can't do it, it can't be done. Yet we keep doing things we've never done before. How the fuck does that happen? And I'm not talking climbing a mountain. I'm talking technology, flying, for instance. The way you used to fly was you didn't. And then they were like, oh, if we heat up air in a balloon, we can get up that way. Cool. And then it was like, hey, if I put some wings on my bicycle, I can get a little airborne. And then it was, we can fly you to Paris from New York in an hour and a half. And it was like, you know what? Let's go touch the stars. Let's go land on the moon. Can't do any of that shit because humanity hadn't done it right, right? Humans are very, very arrogant. We really are. And when somebody says something that we want to reject, like the idea of aliens, ooh, you're crazy. You're crazy. You can believe all kinds of fucking stuff and you won't be considered crazy. But you think that aliens might have even come to our planet. No, no, I'm sorry. Anyway, here's the story itself. I'm going to throw this into chat because you guys know I'm not reading this shit. I read it earlier. This is a really long story. The guy on your screen right there, he's the whistleblower. This is Mr. Gersh, David Charles Gersh. He used to work with the intelligence agency that was specifically in charge of looking at this kind of stuff. And he has come forward and said, we have non-human technology. So where with the 2017 New York Times stuff, right? And we're sitting there going, hey, maybe it's something Chinese. Maybe it's the Russians have built something we just haven't caught onto their technology. He goes, some of it's alien. Some of it is non-human. Non-human. Alien. So unless you think the whales are making the shit, they're trying to get the probe from Star Trek here, and since it's not coming, they're going to fly to fuck themselves back up there. I mean, it was hovering over the ocean there. I have to say non-human means extraterrestrial. Dolphin tech. That's right. That's right. The lizard people, somebody brought up reptilian. I mean, they said, yeah, maybe the lizard people are doing it. But what he asserts is that we are reverse engineering it. And there's several other people who back him up on this. Again, it's all in that story. They back him up. Everything that they say here, and again, I would hope that a news article would be like, okay, yeah, we found this thing that says he's a lying asshole, and that they would include that. None of that's here. Everything here, including his performance evaluations, say the guy is a stand-up, reputable dude. Furry kid, to quote the old Shibolth, I don't know how you say that. Is that a Jewish thing? Finch can't explain how a bumblebee flies. No scientist can't be arsed waiting their time explaining to retards fluid dynamics. The problem with this is that I don't know that fluid. I don't know how much you really need to know. You know what I mean? You don't have to have a deep understanding of science to understand that nothing we own can go from flying north, stop on a dime, turn south, and take off faster than it was flying north. Nothing we own. Cast one, thank you. 1700s people worked on flying. We know physics. Movies where weapons don't scratch a ship. Physics doesn't stop because a gray has colored metal. When people were working on flying, they were told it couldn't be done. They were like, "No, you're not going to be able to do that." There's always naysayers to new technology. Always. Saw that alien documentary with Will Smith, right? I think it might be this story here. One of the stories I read said the Men in Black had it right. I think it might be this one. Why is it so now? To me, there's two things that this guy says that are important. One is that we have pieces of alien craft. That's interesting. More interesting is that we have whole alien craft, which brings up the question of, were they drones or were they flown by somebody? Now, that's never addressed in here. That's not addressed. Whether or not we have, the alien bodies from Independence Day or whatever other movie you want to go to. Yeah, we've been hiding this alien for 50 years. They don't address whether or not there was any being flying it. Just that we have the craft. Bob Lazar said, well, again, this is coming from somebody who works inside this new thing that was pretty recently created to look into UFOs specifically, because they had actually killed the program for a while. Thank you, Dragon Mage. What you described sounds like anti-gravity tech of some sort. Yeah, I couldn't tell you what kind of anti-gravity tech. Not something that could move that quickly and wouldn't. Remember, we're talking about the size of an F-18. We don't have anything that can do that with our current anti-gravity tech. Nothing. And our current anti-gravity tech is very limited. Evolved Potato, thank you. Saying there are aliens is the exact same as saying there aren't. We don't know the probability of either, so we can't know which is more likely. It's just pure hubris to say either way. This just seems to be confirmation bias on your part. Okay, Evolved Potato. How many known planets are in the universe? How many do we know about? How many do we know about? We're playing probability because you said it's the same probability. Cast one, thanks so much. I don't believe in aliens for the same reason I don't believe in an afterlife. I'm not lucky enough for things to be that interesting. It's actually not that interesting to have aliens. It would be more interesting for us to be the only planet in the known universe to have life on it. Even if you're religious, okay, hear me out. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Well, that doesn't say he didn't create other stuff either. And there'd be no reason for God to be telling you about Xandar 3 on the other side of the universe. You know what I mean? So it doesn't even disprove religion or anything. It's just, if you're talking about the number of known planets, the number of known galaxies, and that's just the known ones. As far as we know, the universe just keeps fucking going forever and ever and ever. Unless you think there's a giant bubble around it, like at the end of Men in Black, where it's the galaxy and the marble, there's no reason to believe it ever ends. And there's just planet after planet after planet after planet after planet after planet after planet. It just keeps going. And the more it goes, the more likely it is there's something out there. Again, doesn't have to mean that it's as advanced as we are. Fuck, they could just be little microbes. It would still be life on another planet. Spudgun, thank you. Two possibilities exist. Either we are alone in the universe or we're not. Both are equally terrifying. Arthur C. Clarke. Hi, monkey. I don't find them to be terrifying either way. If we're alone in the universe, cool. I mean, that just means we have a whole universe to ourselves. And as this planet gets more and more filled up, we can start making our arcs and sending them to other areas to populate with humanity. That's awesome. Bring some cows and some sheep and some chickens and some green beans and lettuce and tomatoes with us, and we just set up a whole new place on a whole new planet. That's awesome. You need to look up the Drake equation. All right, you said that in chat like 14 times, so I will look the Drake equation. As is very important to you right now. Hang on one second. The Drake equation. As Drake himself has noted, his simple formula can be likened to how you estimate the number of students at a university. All you need to do is consider the number of new students, freshmen, entering each year, and multiply that by the average number of years the student will spend at the school. This is the number of civilizations which humanity could communicate. I'll have to look deeper into that when I'm not online. But I will look it up further, I promise. And over on the you really I saw it like 4 times. I got you. Just because I don't always, man, I promise you guys, especially when I'm alone, I tend to read you guys a lot more. If all potatoes, thank you. I never said it was the same probability. And you said we don't know, or we can't know which one is more likely. You're putting words in my mouth. I said we don't know the probability. We do know the probability. We can figure out the probability based on the number of planets that we know are out there. You don't know it. I don't know it. You keep talking about what we know, but ignoring what we don't know. Like how did life start? Who knows? I don't know how life started. And I'm not saying this is anything about how life started. I'm saying the probability of having all of these planets out there, especially some that are in the golden zone around a star that based on what we know about our own solar system could support life, the chances of there not being life are ridiculously small. Is it possible? Sure. But what's the probability? That's like saying you can't know the probability of flipping a coin 100 times what you're going to get for heads and tails, because probability doesn't mean certainty. You can't say, okay, you flip it 100 times, you're going to get 50 heads, 50 tails. That's not how probability works. What about the mushrooms on Mars? Did they find mushrooms on Mars? A lot of people get mad at me when I talk about the alien thing because of this, especially the life on other planets. Polly used to get very mad about the idea that the universe went on forever. Like, he could never explain to me why it stopped. But as far as we know, it just keeps going and going and going and going. And from what we have been able to observe so far, there are absolutely planets out there that could host life. Does it mean they do? No. Could we be the only one? Sure. Is that the probability with what we know? No. Hundreds and hundreds and thousands. What was the last estimate we saw? Something like 100,000 different planets that could host life? Not one of them could. The probability of life being there is exact. We can't know that probability with life being on this planet, because you'd have to believe that there was something special. Now, maybe this is a religious thing for you, but you'd have to believe that there's something very special about this planet for the probability not to be higher that there is life out there than not, with what we know about how many planets are in that golden zone. So, yeah. We can only look 13 billion years back in space. Yeah, I mean, we're not. There's going to come a point that, from what we can do here on Earth or in Earth orbit, how far we can actually see into the universe, we're eventually going to have to go out there. We're going to have to go out there. And if I was younger and healthier, I'd be all on board for that trip. Seated by aliens. It's aliens, dude. There's something very special about the planet, but I don't think we're the only ones or only one like us by a long shot. Um, Even when it comes to things like, very microscopic life. Yeah, there is something special about the planet. Why did that life start here? Whether it was landed here, seeded purposefully or not, whether it just spontaneously popped up out of primordial ooze, life had to start here somehow. And what is special about it is the zone we're in. The zone we're in, the atmosphere we have, those things helped life flourish here. If we were closer to the sun, we'd probably all burn up. Further away from the sun, we'd probably freeze to death. There's a golden zone there. But let's get back to what we're talking about. This dude says there's alien aircraft on the planet. Now, I think it was Meh before the show. He said, if America has alien tech, so do other countries. That's specifically what is suggested in this article. He's not suggesting that only America has it. In fact, there's a suggestion later in the article, and I don't remember who said it, so I don't want to put it in this guy's mouth, but that the United States has been basically blackmailing countries to keep their mouths shut about it. Yeah. I think they are just observing us and probably making a documentary. That would be interesting. If it did not start here, what started it? Whatever or whenever it did start. This is a question that man has trouble with. Man has trouble with the notion of infinity. We know what the word means, and on some level we understand it, but we can't deal with infinity. It's one of the things like with the universe issue, going on and on and on forever. The idea that there's no end to it, we have trouble with that. We need a beginning and an end because everything we deal with has a beginning and an end. Whether it's our own lives, a career, even the trees outside, they start and then eventually they die. Everything we deal with has a beginning and an end. So infinity is a concept. While we understand it, we have trouble with it. Maybe life has always existed. Now, for you religious folks, I understand that you believe that it started because of the various deities that you believe in, and that's cool. I'm not disagreeing with that because I can't disprove that either. Now, that's one I absolutely can't disprove. And this is one of those times where I'm like, I'm not arrogant enough to say I know for sure. I'm an arrogant fucker, but I can't say for sure. But if it's not deity related, then it's entirely possible that it just always has been. Furry Kitten, thank you. We could be nothing more than the secondary infection in a discarded condom from a couple of horny specian, I think that's specian teenagers looking for a quiet corner to hook up and bang. Wouldn't that be weird? We're just a couple of horny teenagers snuck away from their alien prom and they threw the condom down here and boom, here we are. Jagamage, thank you. NASA found bacteria on Mars. I have not been keeping up with the Mars thing. I'll take your word for it. I'll have to look it up. But last I knew, they were still excited about water on Mars. So, yeah. Have we found actual bacteria out there? Bacteria actually wouldn't necessarily be that hard to explain either. I mean, we know with bombardments and stuff before our atmosphere had completely formed, maybe there was some life on here. An asteroid shoots space shit into space and it lands on Mars. Maybe they're just lined up perfectly. Venus is in the house of Mars or whatever the fuck. So yes, we found bacteria on Mars. Well, there you go. There's your probability right there. Life exists on other planets. And that's not even in the golden zones. Mars is outside of ours. All right. So this guy says there's alien craft. And the important part of that isn't just that we found the alien craft, according to him. They're lying to Congress about it. Anybody shocked by that? Anybody shocked by the executive arm of the government lying to Congress. Because that's his big claim. It's not just that they found it, right? Mars used to be in the Goldilocks zone. It's not now, though, right? If I remember correctly, it's just outside of it. Cas One, thank you. There is, though, our core is oversized, our moon is massive. We had a late introduction to additional materials. Again, that doesn't mean there's no other planets out there like that. We're talking about being special. Specifically, why would it only evolve here? Aren't there some in the golden zones where they actually have two moons? Which would be it'd be interesting to see what would happen if we had two moons, and depending on which, because they do influence the tides. Would they be competing with each other? Because it would depend on where they were specifically, and um like if they were rotating backwards from one another, would they cancel the tides out? It would be interesting. I'm sure there's tons of science that's already been done on that. What happens if you have three moons, pretty decent size, close enough to the planet that they'd probably pull into each other and explode, and then we die. That's not a good thought. Good thing we just have the one. But lying to Congress about what's been going on and what's been found, and the fact that they're being used, not just could be, but are being used for an arms race. Oh shit, Jack's here. Jack, how long have you been? Jack, how long have you been here?
Just a minute or two.
Okay, I'm so sorry, dude. I didn't see you pop in there.
That's all right. I didn't. I don't even know where I am half the time. So
normally it gives me a audio cue, but I didn't get it tonight.
Yeah, we were tricking you,
Jack.
Monkey.
It's aliens.
It's always aliens.
How you doing tonight? First of all,
I'm fine. How are
Jack
you?
should have lied. No, he shouldn't, because that'd make me feel horrible. So Jack, it is aliens. That's what this guy's telling us, and not just that, but that they're lying to Congress about it. That's the part we're on right now about this. The federal government, the executive branch specifically, lying to Congress. Can you believe that?
Hold on. I have to really reach for some shock on that one. Now I'm all out. I'm all out of shock.
Cas One, thank you. Keeping magnetosphere's hard, moon modulated, stabilized spin, not impossible for others like us, but even in astronomical odds, you have very rare. Infinite universe. That's what I'm just going to keep saying those words.
Well, they keep finding potentially habitable planets.
Yeah.
So the more of those they find, the more likely there are aliens.
And like I said, I think the last article that I read, that the estimated number of habitable planets is like well over 100,000 now.
Yeah. That's just in this galaxy.
Thank you, Keldrick. Alien wants the alien ussy. I think that's alien pussy. No, I'm not a Captain Kirk kind of guy. I stick with my own species. What do I look like? I'm a Kiwi. I don't put my wiener in things that aren't human. Frosted Glass, thank you. I heard in a Vsauce video about how infinity can be more than infinity. For example, there are infinite even numbers, and the amount of numbers in general is also infinite, but more than the amount of even numbers. They're both infinite, but one is bigger. Yeah, that's true. Both are infinite, though. I get what they're saying with that. Yeah, I think I saw that video.
Well, and they're indicating this guy is Whistleblower saying that it's non-human, so it rules out time travelers from our future.
But does it?
I'm saying yes.
I'm going to say no, because if it's far enough in the future to say because what we're doing, according to him, is reverse engineering this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It could be man-made based on alien tech that was found, that we came back 1,000 years into the past to look and see what we were doing.
I suppose, but that creates a temporal paradox then.
The idea of more infinite makes no sense, but it does. As in the example, infinite even numbers, the total number of numbers, even and odds, there are more infinite numbers of those because there's twice as many.
Well, it makes no sense to us because we're very small linear creatures, but to longer lived entities, then it may make more sense. Just because it's hard for us to grasp, it doesn't make it not true.
Yeah. And yeah, I'll link the article again, guys. There you go. Thank you, Furry Kitten. Infinity sucks, but a singularity sucks more. Fair. And scientifically accurate. Jack, were you surprised by this story?
No.
There was no part of this story that surprised me, honestly. The only part that surprised me is it actually got told.
The fact that so many people are reporting on it really surprised me.
You know what, though? And this is why I found the other article that I want to talk about. There's a whole lot of people that aren't reporting on this.
There's a lot of people that are starting to pick this up.
Or it got one tiny little blurb on their website.
Yeah.
Basically the same. This crazy dude says X. Sure. But in my research for looking for this, Jack, I saw an interesting article that this is one I'd heard about the alien thing, but I hadn't heard about this other article. And it's from CBS from May 31st. That's what really stuck out to me was it's just a couple of days before this breaks because that other story broke on the 5th.
Yeah.
NASA group studying UFOs stresses need for better data in first public meeting.
Yeah, there was a congressional sit down the end of May.
Well, the thing about this one, though, is they spend a whole lot of time in this article talking about how these NASA folks are being harassed. Dun, dun, dun.
Is it because the aliens are LGBTQIA plus?
No, it's for talking about aliens.
Well, they're being mocked more likely than anything.
Or for not talking about aliens. Or for both talking about it and not talking about it enough. Basically, they're being harassed. And that just jumped out at me with this story coming out 5 days later. There's no way the feds didn't know this story was coming out. There's no fucking way. And we get this NASA thing where they're like, hey, okay, guys, look, we need to cool it down on the alien talk. We just need to wait and see on the alien talk. You can't tell me that was accidental. You can't tell me that's just interesting timing. Because I'm not going to believe you. I'm just not.
Officially, yes, it's interesting timing because I'm not sad.
Fair. Anyway, an independent group of scientists and experts convened by NASA to study unidentified anomalous phenomenon, a UAP. Go back to UFO. Just go back to UFO.
UFO sounds way cooler.
Said Wednesday there's absolutely no convincing evidence of extraterrestrial activity in any sightings to date.
Except for all the ones that are very credible.
Well, this original story we were looking at here, let's go back to that one because I care more about it. I'll throw that one into chat if you guys want to read NASA going, that's not aliens. Hang on, I'm trying to do two things at once. I hate when I do that. They go over this, it's not like there's not a good reason why we've seen more evidence of aliens UFOs going back to the early 20th century, because that's when it really picks up, is the early 20th century. And there's a couple of things that happen then. Air travel, Jack.
Yeah.
Suddenly we could fly a lot easier than we had been.
Especially with more flights in the air during like World War II when you had the Foo Fighters sightings, and nobody knew whose side they were on. You had Kenneth Arnold over, is that Mount Shasta? I'm a little rusty on the old timeline there.
I want to say yes, but I don't want to be quoted on that.
Yeah.
But the other thing is video.
Yeah. Film, photography in general.
Photography in general starts picking up during just after the Civil War, just before the Civil War?
Just before the Civil War. It was rare because it was expensive. You had like your Duro types. But thanks to war photographers, really, it started picking up quite a bit. But yeah, there was really primitive cameras before the Civil War, but the technology jumped right around the Civil War time.
And then after that, we move into the video era where the same thing happened. Getting video set up was ridiculously hard. And then as the 20th century moves on, everybody's got a camcorder at the end of it.
Yeah. There's a big jump in technology.
And this is one of the things that's brought up in this article about why we're hearing so much more about this. But then the newest reason, and this is what happened with all of the video footage that we've seen, the stuff that was finally acknowledged in 2017 as being real, was increases in the radar that we have. Frosted Glass, thank you. Yes, monkey, but don't tell me not to quote. Fair enough. You do what you want to do.
Hey, real quick, thank you, Keldrick. Great. Now we got to deal with Alien Pride Month too. Yep.
I would put up with Alien Pride Month probably a lot easier.
Oh yeah, I would too. Be less annoying.
It's okay to think it's aliens. And look, this guy could be wrong. This guy could be a quack. He absolutely could be. The other people involved could all be quacks. Fuck, this could all be just a big goof. It could be Bigfoot, that one dude who did the Bigfoot stuff. Remember him?
Oh, yeah. It's a giant disinformation campaign to distract us from the southern border aliens.
Or any number of things our government is up to.
Yeah, the financial crisis, etc.
But our government has been up to horrible shit a long time, and they've always denied the alien thing. They didn't finally say yes until those videos had been out there a while. A lot of people didn't know about those videos until 2017. They'd been out there.
Yeah, the Tic Tac videos? Yeah, they've been out for a long time.
You and I had already watched them.
Yeah.
But the idea that it is aliens is just fucking people up. And this is another thing. It doesn't even mean that aliens came here. They could be unmanned. If they could get a ship here, it's conceivable they could have the technology to get an unmanned drone here.
Oh, yeah. It's more likely it would be some kind of probe. Maybe from a Muamua. Just saying.
Maybe it's the Heaven's Gate people behind Pluto.
Well, I rule nothing out.
Did anybody see if there were Nike in these ships?
Oh, it's a really good question.
But again, this guy does not say that any alien bodies were found, just that craft were. Which I wish he was a little bit more specific on the craft. Was there space for a being? Was there a cockpit is what I'm getting at. Again, it doesn't mean even if there was a cockpit that it was flown by somebody, but maybe, Jack, and I'm just throwing this out there. And maybe aliens landed here and took human form, and that would explain Lindsey Graham.
No, he's a lizard person. There's a difference. They're wearing skin masks.
You don't know that they're not lizard people.
I saw V. They're lizard people.
The aliens?
Yeah, the aliens are lizards underneath their little flesh masks.
Well, see, that just makes my point that he's a fucking alien.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's a reptilian.
Yeah. Little bitch.
He probably eats mice when no one's looking and helps Diana plot to take over Earth and subvert the commander.
How long can this guy tell me it's not human? Is he just guessing? Or how can this guy tell it's not human? Is he just guessing? He's going based on known human technology. Um,
50 years ago, if you had shown someone a microchip, you would have said non-human technology because that did not exist. That it was all vacuum tubes and um, micro transmitters, but no microchips.
this story talks about that too. Not saying that this is how they got the technology, but the guy's explaining later on in the article. Not this guy, but I got to put that on the screen. Not this guy, but one of the other people that they talked to. Just how much we learned from a grain of sand in order to end up making silicone chips and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, imagine what we could learn from just the tiniest particle of this kind of stuff.
Yeah, even if we don't know how to replicate the actual technology, I'll take that down. That's distracting.
How dare you?
Oh, you want it back up?
Nah, we'll put this guy back up.
Okay. Because if you think about it, a lot of the technology is likely very advanced compared to what we have.
Yeah.
But it may not give you the exact ability to copy it because, I mean, let's face it, if you take it apart, it's a one-off, you get one shot at it. But you could learn the principles of how it works based on what you already know of science.
Sure.
And you might be able to replicate that and eventually reach the point where you understand how certain functions on the ship work. And there are going to be basic functions that we already understand that we can use as a template for how they're doing things and start re-engineering it.
KS1 says 50 years ago was the 70s, start of microchips. Yeah, at the beginning. So okay, you got to go 60 years or 60 years now, Jack.
You get my point, though. I'm trying to think far enough back where people still alive wouldn't know what the fuck a microchip was. So
when your TV broke down, you had to go down to the store and get new bulbs to put in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, is what it is.
Sometimes I forget how old I am.
Yeah, I know, right? And then suck. I have to do the math in my head before I say something like 50 or 60 years ago. Back in my dad's time.
But I mean, when we were kids, you had transistor radios. You didn't have anything with a microchip in it. If you did, it was super primitive.
Man, I remember when we were young, I mean, FM stations were still coming online.
Yeah.
And then the idea of satellite radio pops up, and that's a whole different ball game. And we had the whole change to the digital televisions because the signals. Oh, we got digital signals now. So many things have changed just in our lifetime.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Cell phones. That's all very new.
And again, maybe Tim Cook kind of looked like an alien to me. I'm not lying. Maybe they got some alien tech over there.
Well, I mean, they're going to outsource it to various contractors.
Not bulbs, you got tubes. These people are like really on the spot tonight.
Yeah, they're really nitpicky today.
What'd the tubes look like? They look like bulbs. I did. Cas1, thank you. Fuck you. I'm a pendant. It's fine. It's fine. We're fine with it. You corrected us. We were wrong. 60s makes better sense to say.
Yeah. I just woke up. Just cut me a little bit of slack.
Thank you, Keldrig. Back when you two were young, dinosaurs were still being used on construction sites. That's true. That's true.
Yes, I remember my neighbor, a fella named Flintstone. Real pain in the ass. Real loud type.
But man, could he bowl?
He was a very good bowler. Him and his wife always arguing, though. She was kind of a nag, and he's dumb.
Thank you, Furry Kitten. Prior to electromagnetic dynamism, Michael Faraday most electronic engineers were studying semiconductors in the 19th century. The stalling point was the current flow. And I hear you, okay? But we're talking about saying it to the average person.
Yeah.
If you went back to the 1970s and you handed somebody your cell phone, they'd be like, "What the hell is this thing?"
Yeah. Well, like LED technology has been around since the 70s, but it was worthless because they couldn't make it efficient.
Yeah.
to where the technology didn't exist to make that useful. So it was kind of like almost a gimmick at that point. It was inefficient. It wasn't anything you could use in technology. So it just kind of sat there until the technology caught up to where we could use it, and now it's in everything.
Oh yeah.
Real
And
quick,
works very well.
yeah, and it's just fucking fantastic. Saves battery life, and your electricity bill around Christmas time doesn't skyrocket. But thank you to Alexander, who says lizard people are real. Me and Pelosi are members of the lich community. Vampires are cunts. Monkeys are honky, and British people have fucked up teeth, which is clear proof they aren't humans. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Makes a lot of sense.
Do you remember, because you mentioned Christmas lights, when we were little, if a bulb went out in your Christmas light, all of your Christmas lights went out?
Yep, it was one continuous strand.
It was a major deal when it was like, if a bulb goes out, your lights stay on. That's how fucking primitive we were just a few decades ago.
And those bulbs got motherfucking hot.
Oh yeah, they did. I always like the littler bulbs. I'm not a big fan of those big ones. I think they're ugly.
I go back and forth because from a distance, the bigger ones were brighter. So
from a distance, you're right. They look better, but not on my house.
No, and untangling those things that's why people had children, because their blood pressure couldn't handle it.
Yeah, you want some real technology. Figure out how to make it so Christmas lights don't get tangled.
Well, now they have those ones that are encapsulated in a rope because the LED stuff doesn't get hot.
You're right. Yeah, they do have those ones.
Yeah.
Little out of my price range, though.
Yeah, but I mean, in a pinch, they double as an emergency cord. So you could lower somebody into a never-ending pit.
And throw lotion at them.
Yeah. It puts the lotion on its skin, or it gets the hose again.
Touchscreen tech is also from the 70s. I remember when touchscreens coming out, the most recent time, there were, myself included, tons of us like, that's not, how are you going to save the screen? The screens are going to get fucked up. And now everything is touchscreen. I admit I was wrong, but that just goes to how it had been. Furry Kitten, thank you. The development of the thermonic, I think I'm saying that, valve stalled technological growth for technology because no profit in brainisms and shed-based bofins. You're using words I can't pronounce. What are you, a doctor? I'm sure those are all science.
Boffins.
Boffins?
Bofins. It looks like boffins, which is probably like the cousin of a popple. Remember popples?
No.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. Wasn't that a girl thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Tangling is something we can't explain. Things in our universe like to get tangled, and it's a legit mystery. Cas One, thank you so much for the donation again. I think it's just God has a sense of humor.
It's aliens fucking with us.
It's aliens.
Let's not it.
Jack, you think this is going anywhere, this story?
If it's legitimate, no. If it's a fake, yes.
I'm curious to see what Congress does with this, because I mean, it's not like they haven't had oversight over this stuff for a while, and that the 2017 story shouldn't have been like, we have questions. You know what I mean? In order for the 2017 story to not have caused Congress to basically blow up. Now, I will explain in a second. Congress did act a little bit on that. But in order for them to have not acted then, they either had to be okay with being lied to by the military forever, or they already knew.
Well, let's be honest. Congress is probably okay with getting lied to.
Now,
lie harder, Daddy.
Because of the 2017 revelations, we did have them finally start the group looking into the UFOs again.
Yeah.
Rubio and was it Cinema, I think, got together and were like, yes, we got to look into this. Not necessarily the two smartest senators we have. But at least they were like, hey, we didn't know about this. So I'm curious how they're going to, look at this and be like, you guys are lying to us, get people in here. What's going to happen? They'll bring in the head of the DOD and they'll just lie to him again or say, I'm sorry, Senator, that's classified.
Yeah, that's above your pay grade.
Night, Prospero.
Hey, Prospero. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
unfortunately the problem is you can't trust the alphabet agencies to not lie to you because
No.
they don't give a fuck and you're not going to do anything to them because GOP are cowards and the Democrats love getting lied to.
Now, reportedly, there have been inquiries from Congress like, hey, we want to see what you guys have. We'll see where it goes. I don't think it's going anywhere. I think that maybe there's a lot of people who think this is just being brought up as a distraction. And I would agree with that if this wasn't through a news source like this. This wasn't another one where they did it in the New York Times.
Yeah.
In
Well,
fact, I
it
don't know.
turns out that like WAPO and the New York Times were not interested in this at all.
Yeah, I don't know if they've done even a blurb on it in the Times, which is weird because they are the ones who get credit for breaking the 2017 story.
Yeah. Well, after Debrief picked this up, Newsweek published about it.
Yep.
The Guardian published about it. Actually,
Yep.
most of the British press has covered this, and even HuffPo.
I think as a Politico covered it. One of the major three, I want to say CBS, but don't quote me on that. But otherwise, CNN did cover it. But it's all been, this is major news. If nothing else, the lying to Congress part. Why are these assholes all okay with our government agencies lying to the people who have oversight over them?
Well, they're a bunch of communists, and they're okay with that because communism, they're full of lies. I don't know. I don't know why everybody's so fucking comfortable with alphabet agencies lying to their bosses and everybody else.
You can believe that this story is nonsense and still be like, but why are they lying to Congress about it?
Well, Kristen
You know what I mean?
Cinema has actually been really good about following up with some of this stuff because there's been other things that they've decided to leave out of the reports that she's found. So this is a major deal, though, that's because this guy could get in trouble if he's not lying.
James Morrison asks, do they lie to them or do they have all the dirt on them and just don't care? Well, either way, they are lying to him because they've been up there and said, yeah, no, we haven't. Nah, bruh.
Don't know what you're on about. Real quick.
What are you talking about? That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, you're crazy. That never happened. What's Roswell? Gaslighting on the aliens. Thank you, Keldrick. Jack, are you excited for the prospect of Spasians, the space Asians? I think you've been reading my diary, sir. I suggest you stop. You're getting to the saucy bits.
A lot of those alien pictures that I've seen, they do have their eyes tilted. I'll say it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and they are skinny.
They're very skinny. Long fingers, though. All right. So there's that one, guys. We've covered it. Pissed some of you off, and that's all right. We'll be fine. There's two takeaways for me there. The lying to Congress part and the media part. Because when the New York Times comes out with the 2017 article, everybody covered that. Everybody did. Because it was the Times. So obviously it's on the up and up. From the New York Times. I wouldn't trust the New York Times to tell me the sky's blue. I would go outside and be like, I guess they got one right.
Well,
but
monkeys and typewriters.
Right. When it comes to suddenly, Like, okay, UFOs are out there. We can't say that they're not human. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. But before that, if you said it, there were people who got mocked and ridiculed for pointing to those videos and going, "This is not technology we have. This is alien of some kind." Whether it is alien as in the Chinese, the Russians, probably the only two who could do it over there, or it's even if it was U.S. technology that just wasn't widely known, it was quite clearly shit we had not seen before, and they ridiculed the fuck out of it until the New York Times stepped in.
Nah, it's very clearly ancient Atlantean technology recently awoken by the effects of global warming in Antarctica. That's where Atlantis really is.
They've had is it 2 or 3 hearings now on the UFO stuff? I
I
want to
believe
say
we're on the
2.
third one because they just had one.
Okay,
Which,
so a third one just happened.
yeah, and that's a big deal because I think it was 52 years ago that 53 probably now, since the last time Congress had anything similar dealing with UFOs. And that was in the height of the 70s flaps. So nobody really wants to talk about that, but UFO waves come and go. And there was a big one in the 70s, big throbbing one.
Well, I mean, that kind of makes sense too. If you look at us sending probes up, they tend to go in waves.
Yeah.
As technology gets better and better, like, okay, we're going to send this probe up. And then, like, 10 years later, like, hey, it's time to probe the universe again.
Yeah.
What year did Star Trek start? That was 68, 67?
Somewhere in there, 66, 67, 68, somewhere in there. It was 1 year after Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Suck it.
64.
Star
Okay,
Trek
thank
fans.
you. I know it's the 60s. I just never remember. All right, Jack. Let's move along, shall we? Or do you want to talk a little bit more about aliens?
I would just like to point out that the interest in unidentified aerial phenomenon predates Star Trek. So Star Trek didn't inspire this stuff. A lot of it goes back to the 1890 airship flap, the mystery airship. So, and some well before that, even. So, there's been strange things littering our sky for centuries.
Well, if you remember the movie Back to the Future, he goes back to the year 1955.
Mm-hmm.
And they think he's an alien. It's based on a real comic book. Yeah, the idea of aliens has been around for a long time. Since the Egyptians. Anyhow.
Yep. Probably before that.
You know I got to bring them
Anunnaki.
up at least. I got to bring them up at least once.
Well, the Sumerians talked about their gods were from outer space. Same with the Hindus. So, yeah, you want to get wacky, start reading the Ramayana. That thing reads like modern sci-fi.
Well, shit. Okay, not all, but the majority of deities that are worshipped here on Earth are in the sky.
Yeah. Yeah, except for the evil ones who are all underground.
Yeah, which just proves the existence of mole people.
Yeah, the fucking Deros, man.
Yeah.
Morlocks.
And
yeah,
guys, I'm not insulting religion there. I'm just pointing out that the idea of things being in the sky has been around a long fucking time.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's move along. You know what, Jack? I really do enjoy talking the alien stuff. And it's nice that now and then we get at least a little confirmation. And I just want to say this one more time. Fuck you, Thunderfoot, you dumbass. That's a bird. You're an idiot.
It's an alien bird, maybe.
It's a seagull. You don't think the Navy could figure out a fucking seagull? You don't think that with all of their denials over all this time that they went, guys, that's just a bird. You fucking idiot. I just have to say that because at the time, some of his fans pushed back a little bit when I told him he was a fucking retard. Jack, a group of 200 LGBTQ groups have demanded that Target restock its Pride gear.
I saw this and I was like, you do understand how supply and demand works, right? Like, you're a tiny fraction of the shopper base.
If it flew off the shelves, they wouldn't have taken it down, first of all.
Yeah.
Welcome to economics, guys.
Yeah. Like basic economics is mandatory reading. It's like $8 copy. Just fucking buy it and read it, you retards.
It doesn't matter what holiday or event it's for. A lot of that clothing that gets into stores, whether it's 4th of July, Christmas, Halloween, anything where there's, shirts and shit made for it. I don't want to say most, but a lot of that shit ends up on clearance
Oh yeah.
after the holiday's over.
I like to remind people of the Super Bowl shirts
Sure.
because they always print both teams winning. And the ones that win go in the stores. The ones that don't end up in like the Congo.
Yeah.
And you'll walk around and be like, those guys didn't win the Super Bowl. Where'd you get that shirt?
Hey, you stupid commie shitheads who talk about how horrible corporations are all the time. Maybe you should shop there and buy that shit and they'd keep it up. They would have a bigger display next year. That's how commerce works.
Sounds like they're gonna have to spend money. They'll probably just steal it.
Somebody on my timeline told me most of that stuff gets sold. Well, yeah, but at clearance prices. It doesn't sell during go to your local Walmart right now. They are gearing up for 4th of July. They have a big display for 4th of July, and most of that shit will be on sale after the 4th of July.
Yep.
Because most people don't buy that stuff. I once got a Target dress for dirt cheap. I said some of it ends up at thrift stores. Yeah.
Or like stores like Ollie's, where the outlet stores, big and small lots for you Midwesterners.
Well, there's different things that happen when you order clothing into a store. Sometimes you buy it and it's yours and you sell it at whatever profit you can. And that's why a lot of it ends up on clearance. Some of it gets sent back. And it's part of the deal that whatever's not sold, you take back. So just because it disappears doesn't mean the shit got sold.
No, monkey, it vanished. Ergo, it was popular.
And like you bring up big lots. Did you say small lots?
Yeah, it's the technical company name used to be Big and Small Lots.
Is it really? Yeah. By the time it got here, it was just Big Lots.
Yeah, because they would do big lots and they would do small lots, little bit of things.
They go around and buy stuff that is no longer being sold in stores, including apparel.
Yeah, they were just what do they call that? Outlet sales.
Yeah.
And you go to the outlet malls, you can see a lot of the stuff too, because it's stuff from like the last season of products, or 2 or 3 seasons ago.
I used to love going to the Old Navy outlet store because I liked Old Navy t-shirts and they were like $1 a piece in there.
I'm too gigantic for everything in Old Navy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not.
I know. I'm jealous of that, honestly.
I used to get jeans there and there was nothing wrong with them. It's just like you said, the new styles are in.
Yeah. Yeah. Season changed and or last year's stock, whatever they didn't sell that's sitting in a warehouse gets shipped out to the outlet stores or places like Ollie's that buy everything in bulk from stores that can't sell it. Like in January, Ollie's had some really good grills for like $30. And I was like, man, I don't need a grill. It's fucking February. But if I did, this is a pretty good price.
Paul says, I get my clothing from Meijer. Meier's too expensive for me, man. Meijer clothing is expensive as shit.
They do have some pretty nice stuff, though. It's not as expensive as some places.
I like Meijer and Target, but I can't shop there very often for their t-shirts. Again, back to t-shirts. They tend to have a much softer cotton than Walmart does.
Yeah.
And I have this very, very sensitive back. Where should I go? Like I said, I do most of mine at Walmart, and I just buy their really, really cheap ones because they're incredibly thin. And then it's
I
not
buy
as
most of
bad.
my stuff at JC Penney's.
Oh
Yeah.
Jesus, that's expensive, man. You need to shop at Walmart, and then you can eat better.
That I can't because I don't sell my sizes.
Oh,
I'm
gotcha.
a
Yeah.
tall, fat guy. You know how hard it is to find clothes like that? If I
I
wanted
do,
capris, I'd be all set.
dude. I'm only 6 foot, and and I just have the long torso though. Getting shirts
Yeah.
that go all the way down is a bitch.
I get all my clothes from Sharper Image. Stop bragging, Frosted.
How dare you? Got the Eddie Bauer collection. So,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Atheist. Those Foundry shirts are super comfortable. Their t-shirts, oh, they're great. They rip kind of easily, but they are very comfortable.
gay people, if you want people to carry your pride shit, buy it.
No, they have to bully everybody into capitulating to what they want because that's how they get their way.
Muggy, which one of your shirts is the softest? It's actually a shirt I got from Target. It's a I have two different ones. One is a Captain America, and the other one is the Punisher with the skull on it.
Yeah.
They're just soft as fuck, man. It's like pouring butter on your skin. That sounded weird. It's just very soft. I should leave it at that. But yeah, we went there one time. There's not a Target around me, but for some reason we were in Grand Rapids and there's one there, and we were going through and I just saw them. So they were comic book shirts. I'm like, let me see what they got. I'm still trying to find a really good Spider-Man one, and I can't. What I want, Jack, is just a black shirt with the white spider, not Venom, the original
The
black suit.
costume.
Yeah. And they're like impossible to find in a store. But I went over there and looked, and I just touched it. I'm like, oh, I need one of these.
Much like the Spider-Man comic books, Marvel's really good at fucking up on branding, so it's not surprising you had difficulty with that.
I am so shocked you can't buy a Venom shirt like that. You know how well that would sell?
Gee. Yeah, you would think so, but they lack foresight and the ability to market.
Yeah, they're really bad at it when it comes to that. I mean, the Captain America shirt's cool, and it was good branding at the time. We're talking about the Avengers run there, so, but still. Keldrick, thank you. Listen, you'll never convince Lindsey Graham to buy. Listen, you'll never convince Lindsey Graham to buy Pride apparel. He's got too much invested in pretending to be straight. That's fair.
That's accurate.
But this is 200. Look what they did for not Wakanda Forever. Was it Black Panther, and what they did for especially Captain Marvel? Pull your money together and you can make shit happen. The problem is so many of these fucking assholes are also part of the, well, let's just call them what they are, communist crowd. How dare you go out there and tell corporations what to do when all you do is run around talking about how evil corporations are? And I won't shop there. I get my clothes free range. I get my free range straw shirts. Fuck off. Go buy the shit and they'll sell it. I promise you. Plus, you can still buy it. This is how I know you won't buy it, because you can buy it online.
Yeah.
But you have to have it in your store. Fuck off. 200 pride groups. Shut the hell up. Nobody cares, all right? Okay, some people cared. That's why I got kicked out of the stores in the first place. And the other thing with Target, there's two things that did it. One, you guys aren't buying the shit. And two, they saw what happened with Bud Light.
Well, Target, I think, cares a lot less than others because they don't mind being labeled woke. One of their board members is also on the board of a pride advocacy group that's trying to get more of this nonsense in classrooms.
Yeah, but you know what they do care about? Profit.
Yeah, they do like money.
And Bud Light, I'm shocked. They are still reeling from what happened. Their sales numbers that came out last week, the week before, were garbage.
Yeah, well, now they're known as the gay beer.
Yeah. Look, I know you were trying to rebrand and everything, but you don't want to go from the frat boy beer to the gay beer.
Not if you want sales up. I mean, their reputation is worse than Zima.
There's
Zima at
just
least appealed to chicks because it tastes like Sprite or 7 Up.
there's just not enough gay people to make up for the number of frat boys there are.
Yeah,
What the fuck were you doing? I don't
nobody
want to get
thought
on that
that
rant.
through.
But yeah, that's the other thing Target's looking at. Like look, sales have already started dropping, consumer sales, largely because of the whole inflation thing. And the last thing you want to do is be like, okay, look, we can have, and I'm going to be generous, 8% in here shopping, or we could have the other 92. We want to make money. Which one should we go with?
Yeah. Well, the Pride section that I had filmed when I went to my Target.
Wait, real quick, while you're telling that story, I'm going to be here, but I'm going to refill my drink, so I'm going to be muted. Go ahead.
Okay.
Sorry.
So I filmed that video, and you can see a lot of Pride merchandise. That section has dwindled dramatically. So there was that longer area, longer mid cart. Can't talk. Fucking concourse cart. So it's a big cart in the aisleway that was like eye level for me, so it's fairly tall. That is gone completely. They moved a bunch of other stuff out. They don't even have a lot of the Pride books anymore. Now it's all like books for black kids. I'm not even kidding. It's like 90% POC. I think there was like 2 books with white kids in them. I took a video of that. But my point being, a lot of the Pride stuff was toned way down. They got rid of the kid statues, and now it's just 3 adults. So they actually took quite a bit away from it.
Yeah, and that's the problem. And you have to understand this about retail. If it sells, they will sell it if they can, because that's what matters. You can be as woke as you want to, but if you're not making your sales, you're going to lose your job, and they're going to bring somebody else in to do it.
Yeah, and they can talk a mean game about like, oh, we don't care about controversy. Yes, they do. Yes, they absolutely do care about controversy if they want to maintain. Because look at Bud Light with their half-ass apology, and their sales are still tanking.
It wasn't even an apology. That's the biggest problem.
Yeah.
But it was enough to also piss off the other group who's not going to drink your beer either. They weren't going to drink it in the first place. If they were, you wouldn't have had to be like, we have to find a new market. I told you how to sell it. America and titties. That's how you do it.
Yep.
That's how you sell beer. Christ. Unless you're in Germany, then it's Germany and titties, or in the UK, it's the UK and titties. You want national pride and titties. That's how you sell beer. It's a winning formula. And you know what, Bud Light? You had gotten away from that formula because you had started to already go woke. Oh, we can't have the women in bikinis. Why not? You know what guys like? Titties.
Yeah, titties and women.
You know what guys drink? Beer. You want to get their attention to your beer? Put titties there. There's a reason booth babes used to be a thing. And it wasn't because they wanted to pay models to stand there because they didn't get a look at them. They were off busy working. It was because they knew it brought guys over, and guys are the ones who tend to buy electronics and video games. It's not rocket science. I hate people who are bad at sales, Jack.
That's true. I don't know. It seems like it should be a simple thing.
I hate people who are bad at sales who are in the sales departments.
That's almost everybody that's in sales.
They're bad at their jobs.
Yeah.
Beer doesn't need ads in Germany. I bet if they put some in there with some titties, it would. All right. I want you to just close your eyes. Everybody close your eyes. And imagine a chick in Lederhosen with 2 mugs of beer there. Well, what do they have? Steins of beer. You see most of her titties, right?
Uh-huh.
Because that's how you sell beer.
Yeah, beer winches and steins. And shitting on the Nazis because they really like a little bit of self-flagellation.
Indeed. So yeah, Target, they might, because it's still early in the month, they might try to sell the stuff again, but they're going to see that it doesn't sell. I get why they tried it, Jack. I do. I understand. But as far as I've seen, no company, no major company has like suddenly shot way up in sales in Pride Month because they put rainbows on shit. Has anybody heard of the rainbow bump? As far as I know, Black Friday's still in November.
Rainbow Bump is when a preteen whose parents have Munchausen by proxy accidentally misses their hormone treatment and grows boobs.
Oh, yeah, that could be a thing. All right. We can't. I was hoping we could watch the video, but we're on my other internet, Jack.
Oh,
So we can't.
okay.
So we have to just make fun of this one on our own. Elliot Page was in the news again today. Formerly Ellen Page. Elliot Page reveals chilling transphobic attack outside LA hotel. Quote, this is what somebody supposedly said to Elliot. I'm going to fucking gay bash you, F slur.
They use the word that we can't use on the YouTubes.
Yeah, if we weren't on YouTube, we could say the word faggot, but since we are, we can't say it.
You just said it.
I know. I thought it was funny.
You monster.
Hey, look, I'm just repeating what was said, okay? Supposedly. Somebody walked up to Elliot Page, reportedly, and said, I'm going to gay bash you.
See, now, I took that an entirely different way than I think everybody else did, because that sounds like some sort of fetish shit. Like, I'm going to gay bash you.
I saw somebody say that sounds like sexual innuendo.
Yeah, that was probably me.
Nobody says, I'm going to gay bash you.
No, nobody.
That's like, I'm going to say racially insensitive things to you.
Now, was it said by a Nigerian man in whiteface in Chicago? That's MAGA country.
Oh my God. Nobody says that shit. But for the record, Elliot here has a new book coming out.
Yes. Also, celebrities tend to stop maturing at the age they got popular, which for her would have been about 14. So mentally, maybe that made more sense to this retard than it did to anybody else.
Actor Elliot Page. Has Elliot been in anything since they cut off their titties?
I don't think so. Real fast. Thank you, Frank. Bud is trying to rebrand by doing a veteran donation based on sales and a Harley beer. Instead, just pissed people off at the Harley for spring Bud. Yeah, the Harley people are pissed. The camouflage cans tanked. Everything they're doing is flopping because they're the gay beer now. All it takes is one marketing mistake and you're toast for a generation.
The camouflage beer thing is already a thing. They do it during hunting season.
Yeah.
So this just looks like a pathetic attempt to try to make up. You know what you do? What was that gun company we saw that had the little woke thing on their thing? They're like, problem solved. That person's gone. They didn't. Those guys didn't even have to apologize.
No.
They just took care of the problem.
Yep.
Actor Elliot Page has shared he was verbally attacked and threatened by a crazy transphobic man who shouted that he was the reason I need a gun in Los Angeles last year. So the person said, I'm going to gay bash you. I'm the reason you need a gun. No, that didn't happen. That didn't happen. No. Look, Ellen had already become gay, and people stopped caring about her after the 2 seconds that she had a little bit of fame for being gay. So then she becomes Elliot, and nobody cared. And so then Elliot posts pictures without his titties, and nobody cared. So
Also the absolute fake.
and now they need something to help sell this book because nobody cares. And so
Yeah,
as they said they were gonna gay bash me.
the problem is her star faded quite a bit after Juno. She's done some things and said some things that were like offensive or annoying to people, and she's no longer a star. And once you've lost that taste of fame, you start scrambling and doing anything you can to keep it. Madonna is a great example of this. Look at all the weirdo plastic surgery she's tried to get to keep her youthful appearance, and now she looks like a fucking monster from like Jigsaw. She looks like the Jigsaw puppet. Okay, if you painted her face to look like the Jigsaw puppet, she would look like Jigsaw. But Elliot Page is doing the same thing. It's anything to get attention. Please look at me. Please pay attention to me. Please make me famous again. It's really sad. This person needs a lot of psychological help.
Oh, so he yelled, "This is why he personally needed a gun," not Elliot. I'm sorry. This is why I need a gun. The maniac reportedly yelled at Page through the glass door. Apparently, this is by a convenience store called Pink Dot, and the employees there escorted a terrified Elliot Page inside. Very manly, by the way.
Yeah.
Page, whose dead name is Ellen Page. I love that they worked that in.
Wow, they called it a dead name, so they were just straight up dead naming her.
Yeah.
Good job.
It's okay to dead name them if you mention that it's the dead name.
Fucking people.
Revealed he was transgender in 2020. Now he says he no longer feels safe in Los Angeles. I'm sorry, you're okay. I guess you could move
just
to
now feeling unsafe in Los Angeles.
If you're trans, there are very few places in the country you would be safer than Los Angeles. Because remember,
people be more accepting, but I've seen LA's crime.
She's not saying this because of the rampant crime in the city, Jack. It's the gay bash thing. That's specifically why. Frank Hubbard, thank you. It accomplished ruining Umbrella Academy season 3.
Yeah, that's what Evolved was just saying too. It got progressively worse.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't watch it. I was never a fan of Umbrella Academy.
I don't know what Umbrella Academy is.
It's a TV show.
Well, I thank you.
You're welcome.
Season 3 was
kind
of
a giveaway. Figure that out. Yeah. I mean, I think there were like clues within the sentence. We call those context clues.
I'm trans, but I'd rather live in Tennessee than in Hollywood. Well, again, if you're doing it on the overall crime, sure. But if you're doing it based on how much transphobia there is, you can move to San Francisco, which, by the way, rampant crime.
Yeah.
You could move to New York, rampant crime, Portland, Seattle, Houston, shit, everywhere there's that this shit is accepted. There's rampant fucking crime everywhere.
Yeah, it's almost like major cities have crime problems because a bunch of criminals go there.
Page, who came out as gay in February 2014, claims that an unnamed A-list actor told him he was going to fuck you to make you realize you aren't gay at a birthday party in Los Angeles shortly after coming out. Name them. I dare you.
Oh, man. If my X button wasn't broken already.
Right? He purposefully did not name the accused high-profile celebrity, but said that they would hear about this and know it's him. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
And not care, because it doesn't matter if you didn't name him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They'll know. See, this just shows the problem with this person, because this is a very egocentric kind of thing to say. They'll know.
Oh, absolutely.
They'll care. Why? You didn't name them. So what do you think they're going to do? See this and realize their mistake and be, oh my God, I need to call them and apologize for my past actions. No. Eh. The actor
Uh,
added that another celebrity, whom he described as only an acquaintance, insisted, "You aren't gay. That doesn't exist. You are just afraid of men." Well, Mr. Page, if you're a man now and you are in a relationship with a woman, are you still gay?
um,
I feel like
no.
either he was right or you're not a man. I need you to tell me which.
Yeah, you can't have it both ways.
Can't have it both ways.
Because you got your cooter sewn up and you got the fake dinker put on.
Did they
Right?
go
She had the
through with
bottom
the
surgery.
did they do the bottom surgery? I have no
I
idea.
thought she did. I don't know.
I
Let me
know
grab a couple. Oh, sorry.
Oh, sure, go ahead. I was going to say, I know they got their boobies cut off because we saw that picture, but I haven't heard about any
Yeah, and
penis.
Page Boy is the name of your book. That sounds like you're an escort.
Right?
Uh,
Well,
but
look at them. They look like an escort.
yeah, that looks like an escort ad. That's not even a manly pose. That looks like you're a twink on the down low taking money for dick. It's a back page ad. Thank you, ex Bubba Hotep. This says, "What's more likely? Please don't gay bash me with your giant forehead." Yeah, yeah, she does have a big forehead. That's why I called her Bonk for the longest time. And thank you, Keldrick. Nobody in LA thinks they need a gun for any reason. This is almost as unbelievable as Chicago being mega country. Yeah, this is the new small A. It's just gotten lazier and lazier, like everything.
Days later, the acquaintance ran into Paige at the gym expressing he didn't have a problem with gay people. "I think you might," Paige claims to have replied.
Oh, stunning and brave.
The memoir also shares details about a secret relationship with a closeted female co-star called Ryan and a romance with Kate Mara while dating Max somebody. This was right after I'd come out as gay and it was time of exploration and also heartbreak. I don't care. You're a liar. This is a bunch of bullshit and you should feel bad about yourself. Jack, I think I figured it out though.
Oh, what's that?
Ellen became Elliot because this haircut would not really be acceptable in Hollywood on a woman. I mean, it worked in Ghost, but not since then.
Yeah, it
And
worked great for Mo Howard for like 40 years.
you, as a guy, you can get away with this haircut to hide that forehead.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you have long enough hair, you could have longer bangs, but she cut her long hair. I mean, the last time she was interesting was Juno or like X-Men.
I didn't
So
think Juno was that good.
I didn't either, but people liked it.
Oh, look, snarky chick.
Well, that was like every female character at the time, and now it's
Yeah.
like it's seen as female empowerment because a lot of the kids that grew up with those movies are running things now.
Now, once again, we have my internet, so we can't play this video. I'm going to throw it into chat for people. Little palate cleanser, Jack. But we
Oh,
will show the picture on screen because it's adorable.
this is toe beans.
It's a kitty cat making air biscuits.
Yeah, but Toby's a cute little kitty cat.
Now, the problem with that is when I read it and it said air biscuits, I was like, do y'all realize what that means? Do you remember an air
Farts.
biscuit back in the day, Jack? That's a
It's
fart.
farting. Yeah.
Yeah. So either the cat is just doing the cute little claw thing, or
Yeah,
it
he's
was
doing biscuits. That's
yeah,
when
I know, but we don't know that person and we couldn't ask. So the cat might have been farting the whole time.
quite possibly. I rule nothing out, even though that would be adorable too.
You know, it'll be a slideshow, but fuck it. We'll just oh shit, there's music here. Look at that little cuteness.
It's actually playing pretty well.
Look at the cute little baby.
Oh, he's a super cute kitty too.
Look at his little tiny ears. He's adorable. That chick has a lot of nail work done.
Yeah, that's somebody to avoid. She's got
That's a high
spending
maintenance woman.
problems. Yeah, that bitch is gonna be super high maintenance.
Look at the kitty. Oh, so adorable. Anyhow, moving right along. Just a little cleanser. You guys can watch that and see him do his little air biscuits and not farting. We're pretty sure it's the making the biscuits thing. Guys, 7 days to die. 7 days to die. Monday. This is one for those who watch the game channel. They finally told us when Alpha 21 is coming out this coming weekend, Jack. They're doing the streamer weekend, which we are not a big enough channel to be allowed into. And I don't have titties to get away from the requirements. So we're gonna have to wait till Monday. So come Monday, we will be streaming Alpha 7 or Alpha 21 finally. Just a little programming note. Can't wait. Jack, I've been waiting a long time for this. A really long time. Do I really want to discuss this? I guess.
I don't know. Real quick, while you're debating that internally, thank you, Frosted Glass. This is difficult, but I'll mention a time I was ginger bashed. Well, I mean, did you have it coming? I just volunteered for the homeless when a guy said he'd ginger bash me. I don't care about your good looks and massive genitals, he said. You're still a no good ginger. It still hurts. Well, did you use your warlock powers to smite him and turn him into a toad? Because aren't all of you like wizard shapeshifters or some shit? But thank you, Frosted, and congratulations on your dashing good looks and massive wang.
Understatement asks if I'm streaming with Satsu. I'm probably going to be streaming with Satsu, but it won't be on my channel. Mine will be just a solo playthrough, which will definitely happen Monday night. So I'll probably play it alone before I play it with Satsu. All right. Yeah, fuck it. Let's talk about this. If Ron DeSantis and his wife Jill were actually good parents, they wouldn't abandon 3 small children to fly all over the country and campaign for president full time. Who's watching them on the campaign trail? Are the Florida taxpayers paying for a private nanny? Okay, stop right there. Gotta hate this dumb bitch.
Who is this?
No, the Florida taxpayers would be paying Ron DeSantis and he'd be using his own money for a private nanny, or that would come out of his actual campaign funds, which are donated by people. You stupid, stupid, stupid woman.
Well, that'd be easy to check because you know how many staff he has at like his mansion or whatever.
Will they be missing school to go with Ron and Hillary Clinton 2.0 as they travel? They really don't like Casey.
No, because she's fairly attractive and they're very jealous. Also, Laura Loomer's a fucking whack job. Those kids are clearly very young. They're not going to school.
Will they be traveling with them as Ron and Hillary 2.0 travel to different state each day to campaign? Casey will probably not be on the campaign trail with him the entire time.
I'm pretty sure she's required to be 2 steps behind him at all times.
No, I think you're thinking of Japanese stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
hot.
yeah. Is Ron using campaign money or taxpayer money to pay for childcare when he and Jill are at a private investor meeting and campaigning all over the country? These are fair questions. No, they're stupid questions. They're stupid questions. One, he could not use taxpayer money unless you're talking about his paycheck, you dumb bitch. You think he went over and whispered to the state treasurer, hey, cut me a check for my childcare. John, thank you. They're gossiping already. Yes. There was a trend the other day, not Melina, I think it was, trending because she's not Melina. She doesn't have to be. Look, guys, pick your horse in this race. I don't give a shit which one it is. I really don't at this point. But this is petty, stupid shit. And for the love of God, stop treating Laura Loomer like she's in any way intelligent. That is a dumb bitch. She's the definition of a dumb bitch. If she didn't have titties, nobody would pay attention to her.
But she doesn't have nice titties though. They look
No.
weird. She's a weird looking woman.
Oh, there's no reason for this. The oldest is 5, so maybe starting school. That's fair enough. That's fair enough. And if the other one is like 4, they could be in preschool. My guess would be, yeah, they probably have a nanny running around with them, somebody who looks after the kids while they're, going to different events. Because the kids probably shouldn't be at those. That's not new or unusual. I don't understand why this is a thing.
I don't know. Laura Loomer is just desperate to get attention.
I've seen her popping up over and over lately. She's like
Yeah,
an unpaid surrogate of Trump right now. And if I was Trump, I would tell her to shut the fuck up.
Well, Trump has a problem with that himself. So
yeah, look, I've seen some of the stuff he said recently, and I agree with him. And some of it's like, why?
Not productive.
But this leads me to something else I wanted to talk about, Jack. With the UFO story, I pointed out, the press had suppressed this for a long time. They mocked anybody who did it, right?
Uh-huh.
Well, I hate the press. I think they're a bunch of shitbags.
No, that's true.
There's a post from Robert Barnes today, and it says this: as predicted, DeSantis now badly underwater with independents, and it shows 4 different graphs, which is kind of weird because they're all basically the same thing. That shows that he's gone down with independents. Okay. Drastically down with independents. This is 18 points. This one's 31 points. 31 points with independents. Now, we know, no matter what the press is talking about with Donald Trump doesn't set the narrative of the press. So why is he down that far? It's not like he's had some major scandal come out.
I can tell you why.
Oh, we know why. They think that they have a better chance of beating Trump than they do of DeSantis. They want Trump to be the nominee. They've been throwing everything they can at DeSantis since last year, all under the guise of "don't say gay, Bill." That's my opinion. Why do you think, Jack?
I think it's because there's more people entering the field and it's dividing up the independents.
I don't believe that's that big of a jump. That wouldn't necessarily lower his approval rating, because that's an approval rating.
Oh, that's fair.
So why?
Shut up. Don't notice things. Stop noticing things.
And when I see conservatives or conservative leaning people cheering this on because they're in Trump's camp, fine. Yeah, great. He's going to lose. What if he wins the primary? What if he wins the primary? Do you think that's good for him that independents are down that far? And more importantly, why is he down that far? It is because there has been an onslaught, nothing but negative news coverage of Ron DeSantis for the last 6 months. Actually, it's longer than that. The Don't Say Gay bill was last year, right?
I think so.
This is shit that should be making you go, wait, why is that happening? By all means, I get it. You don't like DeSantis, not everybody, but if you don't like DeSantis, his numbers are down. Okay. But you're cheering on the very shit that even Trump points out. The press is fucking dirty. You realize that, right? Trump will win the nomination. It's not even close. I'm not willing to make any kind of guess until we get closer to the election. When we're starting to look at the first 2 states that vote, then I'll tell you what I think. Right now, Trump is clearly leading. Go ahead. I'm sorry, bud.
Yeah, no, remember Ted Cruz won Iowa. So we don't know because everybody laughed at Ann Coulter when she said that Trump was going to be the nominee in 2016. So yeah, I wouldn't rule him out, but at the same time, anything can happen. You just never know what's going to happen in the next 6 months to a year.
We get it, Monkey. You're a DeSantis fan. This has nothing to do with being a fan or not. When there's been no scandal at all, nothing like caught using government funds or banging a male hooker with meth all over the room, no scandal at all. With independence, his number to drop 30 fucking points in favorability, that's a propaganda op right there.
Yeah.
That is the news doing exactly what they always do. And you can hate DeSantis all you want to and still look at that and go, there's something dirty going on here. The press, the Democrats, you don't have to believe this. The Democrats desperately want Donald Trump to be the nominee because they think they can beat him. They think that they can kill him with the baggage that he's carrying, with the lawsuits that have been coming, with the legal entanglements that are there. They think he is easy pickings.
Yeah. But he's fighting against Mr. Magoo, so there's that.
I think they're making a mistake with that because I think either of these guys, I think Tim Scott, I think pretty much most of the Republican field could beat Biden.
Oh, probably. Well, the people that make these polls up or the poll questions and start coming up with the analysis, they're the ones that are completely fucking out of touch with regular voters.
DeSantis has no personality compared to Trump. That does count. That would count with Republicans, but it wouldn't explain why DeSantis was at 50 on election day, why he absolutely smashes the Florida election and he's popular with pretty much everybody at the time, and then since then has dropped off. Yeah. I'm just telling you, guys, be careful what you're looking at. Look for the propaganda. It doesn't mean you have to support that person, but it's out there. They did similar shit to Bernie Sanders, and I hate that fucker. The press was horrible to Sanders. Not because he was a commie, though. They liked that part of him.
Yeah.
But because he dared stand up against Hillary Clinton. He stepped out of line.
It was her turn, Monkey, not his.
I know.
He's old, pale, and male.
Do you think Bill had a sign on the bed that said "her turn" for when Hillary was actually allowed in there?
Oh yeah, yeah. And then he had to leave. Some other chick was coming in. Uma's turn. Thank you, Furry Kitten, for the generous donation. I won't want your cellar to starve. So this should keep them in spiders and minimal noodle rations. Oh, thank you. It's like you know the menu. Thank you, Furry. The ladies will appreciate that.
All right, guys. I'm throwing this one into chat. Jack, I don't want to try to watch this with my internet that I'm on right now because I did switch to the AT&T. But a Christian man in Pennsylvania has been arrested for reading the Bible. Damon Atkins was reading a verse from 1 Corinthians 14:33 during a pride event in Reading, Pennsylvania, but was arrested before he could finish the verse.
If we're not going to go to the video, just go to the first article.
Oh, is that based on this one?
Yes.
Cool. Yeah, I just don't want to try because it's been so janky lately. I need that sweet Biden internet that I was promised.
Yeah, that ain't coming.
Christian man arrested after quoting Bible at the Pennsylvania Pride March. Jesus said, "Go and sin no more." That's his sign that he's holding. How you son of a bitch.
I mean, how dare he?
Look, guys, whether you like it or not, the Bibles in the Old Testament, that's a sin. I do wonder if he eats pork, though, because that's in the same area. On Saturday, a man was arrested while protesting a pride event outside City Hall in Reading, Pennsylvania. Again, I don't care about people protesting. I don't think it does anything. But he is allowed to.
No, apparently not. He was out there being an Easter worshiper, and we don't allow those bunny lovers out here.
Police detained Damon Atkins, a self-proclaimed born-again Christian, less than a minute after he arrived on the scene. Oh, they were ready.
Mm-hmm.
Christians read the New Testament. They still go by the Ten Commandments. That's in the Old Testament. At the time of his arrest, Atkins was standing across the street from the event and holding up a sign that read, Jesus said, I am the truth, the way, the life on one side. And Jesus said, Jesus said, go and sin no more on the other. The entire incident was caught on camera by Matthew Ware, a local resident and fellow Christian who had been preaching at the protest. As soon as Atkins arrived on the scene, Officer Bradley McClure approached and appeared to warn him. This is public property, Atkins said, standing his ground. Let them have their... No. Nope. No. That police officer should lose his job.
Yeah, but we both know that's not going to happen.
I would sue the fuck out of these people.
You'll notice the stripes on the arm there too. That's a sergeant.
That's a sergeant, yeah.
That's not just some road schmuck. That's somebody that should know better.
This is a sergeant. He's probably got at least 10 years on.
Yeah, and well, I'm not going to speculate on what he's into, but his statement there was really aggressive. Let them have their day. No, fuck off. You can stand there and counter protest all you want.
Faithless says, I don't believe and I still want these people smited. I am with you 100% on that.
Well, anyone touching kids, man. Anymore, I associate pride with perverts and like people peeing on each other and kid diddlers.
I want to be clear here. I'm talking about that police officer.
Oh, that guy should be fired, yeah.
I want him smited. This is bullshit. Let them have their day, McClure replied, referring to the dozens of people celebrating Pride. He then asked Atkins to show some respect. Oh, I'm respecting, Atkins said, pointing to his sign. You know who's cheering for us? The people that are in hell. So you do you, and I'm going to do me. At that point, McClure walked away before promptly turning around and coming back after Atkins began preaching. According to an affidavit obtained by the Lancaster Patriot, McClure said he warned Atkins about what sort of behavior was and wasn't allowed and sought to have him arraigned for disorderly conduct. You know what? I'm sorry. I got to take a stop here. I've told this story before, Jack, and this is something that police will do to you with your First Amendment rights. When my son called me that night, he said, I'm sorry, Dad, if there's any fines or anything, I'll pay for it. I'm like, what happened? I flipped off a cop and we got pulled over and the cop's going to be calling you. You didn't do anything wrong. It's fine. Don't worry about it. And then the cop called me and he told me I needed to talk to my son. I said, about what? He goes, well, about respect. I'm like, he doesn't have to respect you. It's perfectly legal for him to flip you off. And he's like, oh, I could have cited him for disorderly conduct. I wish you would have. I really do.
Yeah, that because sue the department.
I would live somewhere right now with good internet. I absolutely would, because I'd have sued the fuck out of him for that.
Oh, yeah.
Police try to do this all the time when you point out, hey, I have a First Amendment right to do this. And then they'll throw out that disorderly conduct. Speaking is not disorderly conduct.
Yep. And it would get thrown out of court more times than not, unless you just pay the ticket. And it's a bunch of nonsense, but they know they could get away with it. And it's a tactic used by shitty cops.
It is a intimidation tactic.
Yep.
And it's bullshit, and they know it when they do it.
Oh, yeah. But they get in a power struggle because you should be respecting their authority. How dare you?
Yeah, when he told me that, by the way, that cop ended up hanging up on me. You ever had a cop hang up on you?
Not in the context of their duties, no.
I laughed so hard because I'm sorry. I did. I told him, like, look, I'll tell my son he probably shouldn't do that. It's not nice to do, which I did. Like, dude, there's no real reason to do that. I mean, I don't care that you did, but we do live in small town, and small town cops are known to be, well, cocksuckers sometimes.
Yeah.
They'll start targeting you specifically.
Yeah.
It's a small town. They're bored. You get fined if you insult the police here. Where are you at, man? You don't have to be specific, but what country? There are laws that they've tried putting on the books about insulting police officers. And here in the United States, every time those go to court, they're shot down.
Yep.
Because you have the right. Oh, the Netherlands. Yeah. You have the right to insult them. It's free speech.
Yeah. It's freedom of speech and expression. Same way. Remember that lady that got a ticket for flashing her lights at oncoming traffic to warn them about the speed stop?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And they tried to say that she was impeding the police, and that got thrown out and laughed at by a judge.
Yeah.
But it still occasionally happens.
These cops that pull this shit, don't let them pull that. What is this guy's a cocksucker. He is a little piece of shit cocksucker.
Yeah, look, this is actually making the rounds on social media, so it's actually getting quite a bit of conversation. I mean, Post Millennial wrote an article about it, so I'm glad for that, because people need to expose this kind of behavior so more cops are afraid to do it. But it's going to continue to be a problem, especially as more of these what's the polite way of saying protected groups? Protected groups decide to bully their way into positions of power. And the Pride people are just the latest. Real quick, though, thank you, Evolved Potato. Am I the only one that thinks that if he did sue, he'd lose and the judge would lecture him and talk down to him? Because that's what I expect from these people.
No.
In some places that would work. Pennsylvania, though, I don't know. I don't think that would happen.
Even then, I mean, you push it up and you win then. The appellate courts are very good on this, and the Supreme Court is locked in on this. So if you did lose in a local jurisdiction, move it up. Even most state courts have been good on this one. This is basic First Amendment rights.
Mm-hmm.
I immediately approached him, McClure wrote, and told him that while he was free to stand on that side of the street, that's nice of you, and hold his sign, he could not cross the street.
He didn't.
He was absolutely legally allowed to cross the street.
Yeah, but he never did. All happened in a very short span.
I hear you. I'm just saying, this cop, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
You cannot tell somebody... not allowed to cross the street nor yell comments intended to disrupt the event. Bullshit. You belong at a Wendy's serving Frosties, homie.
Yeah.
The crowd cheered as they watched Atkins get handcuffed and hauled off. Can't believe this happened in Reading. I don't know which way you say that. Where lamented, this is an unjust arrest and we have it on film. Yeah. Where followed Atkins as he was taken around the corner and questions on the curb. While this was going on, Reading Police Executive Director Enrique Castro commented on the situation from the stage. To those who are holding signs that refer to religion, he said, I would say God bless you, Allah bless you, and put some love into that heart of yours. Atkins is set to appear in court on June 16th. And I would sue the shit out of them. I absolutely would.
I hope he does. This was enraging. This is total abuse of police powers.
You just cost your department at least $250,000, homie.
I hope so.
A lot of these cases go for the tens of millions. This is a clear violation of his First Amendment rights.
Yep.
So, thank you, Frank. Reading is pronounced past tense. So reading? Like the railroad? That doesn't help me.
Real quick, thank you, Dixie Rose, for that feminist donation. My sister was actually arrested for calling a cop Dudley Do-Right and gave instructions on what to do with his horse. Tell him to go forth and procreate unilaterally. But thank you, Dixie. That's fucked up. You should get arrested for speaking. This
No.
was a thought crime. Let's admit what it was. It wasn't
Yeah.
just a First Amendment violation. It's because he was protesting a pride march. This is politically motivated bullshit.
I have two different pronunciations in chat. I thought it was Reading, and that's what most people are saying. Um, I don't know. I'll take you guys' word for it. What I do know is that this was bullshit, and this is what I've told you guys about the channel Read Not Read. Thank you so much again, Frank. I appreciate it. That helps me. That one actually does help. Go watch Audit the Auditor sometime.
I hate those guys.
I like Audit the Auditors, not necessarily the auditors themselves. Because the auditors themselves put themselves in positions purposefully to get in trouble.
Yeah.
And in fairness, what they're doing isn't illegal. They're just being dicks.
Yeah, well, that's the problem. There's better ways to do this than a lot of them do, because a lot of them are provoking the cops.
Yeah.
Trying to get arrested, and that's not productive. If you want to be more productive, just expose them for doing shit like this.
Well,
that's way more productive.
There's a really good one. The first time I ever watched a video over there recently, because I had seen him before, but it had been a long, long time. And back in the day, they didn't do as good a job on Audit the Auditors. Now the guy who does the voice narration is really good. But the first one I saw is a kid walking down the street who yelled "fuck you" to cops.
Yeah.
And they stopped him and like, well, what are you doing? You can't do that to me. And he was like, I absolutely can. And he was right.
Yep.
But they do give him, I think they give him a low score for being a dick, because they give him an A through E grade, or A through F. A through F never made sense. E should be anyway. But there's several of them where the cops are just, they're bad at their jobs. They do not understand the First Amendment. They do not understand things like public property. They do not understand things like, I'm allowed to insult you, fucker.
Mm-hmm.
You can't threaten them, but you can absolutely tell them to go fuck themselves. Anyhow, yeah, check out some of those. It's amazing to see how bad American police are at this.
A lot of that is lack of training or hiring bad people that should be cops, because that's all you can get anymore. And I think that's the biggest problem, is they're hiring people that want to bully people around.
One of them was a guy, he goes into a city building, like his local town hall or whatever it is. And he's filming in there, and he's making the people very uncomfortable. The people that work at like their title office and that kind of shit.
Mm-hmm.
And the police get called, and they're like, yeah, we know who you are. We know it's allowed. But go ahead and leave. He was just being a dick, trying to get the police to come out and tell him he can't do it so he could catch it on film.
Yeah.
But there's another one where there's a guy, he's filming the police station outside. He's not inside. He's just filming from out, and they send two police officers. You can't do that. And they call a sergeant, who walks out and he goes, yeah, you can do that. You guys leave him alone. And that was the end of it.
Yep. Because that's actually one of the oldest laws in the country, is the ability to capture an image of a public building. It goes back to old English common law.
Yeah.
It's there's specific phraseology for it, but it's basically the right to take in the scenery, because it was back in the painting days, but architects didn't like it. They tried to challenge it, but it was a freedom of panorama. That's what it's called. But anything out in the public, you're allowed to look at.
And it's also our building. Police stations they belong to us. We paid for those. You can't stop us from recording them. Sorry. Now, if you're sitting there and you're recording to try to make sure you can figure out when the shift change and everything like that, then they can be like, what you doing here?
Yeah, that's a different thing though,
Yeah.
altogether, because the intent's different.
Yeah,
if you're just looking at the building and taking pictures of it, that's perfectly allowed if you're trying to nail down their schedules, that's nefarious.
Yeah, that's a little bit different. That's some Antifa shit.
Yeah.
But if you guys do run into cops like this and they pull that disorderly conduct because you were talking, tell them to get fucked. Dare them to arrest you. Well, don't do that because then you were trying to get arrested. Doesn't matter. He still broke the law in doing so. That is a violation of your civil rights, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Breaking. Southern Poverty Law Center adds parental rights groups to hate map.
I thought you'd like this one.
The SPLC is one of the worst organizations in the country right now. They really are.
Oh, they've gotten so bad. They used to be fairly respected. Now it's like everybody hates. They're bad because we don't like them. You'd think after they got sued a few times, they would have kind of toned it down a little bit, but nope.
Would the sergeant arrest him if he was a Muslim? No, I mean, there's Muslims who do this purposefully too because they know the First Amendment in the United States. These auditor guys, most of them tend to be dicks. They really do. They're doing it on purpose. They're doing stuff that they know most police don't understand the thing, so they're gonna get a response, and that's gonna get clicks on their videos.
Yep.
But when it comes to that's like I said, Jack. That's why I like the auditors channel because they call that shit right out. Anyhow, the Southern Poverty Law Center, which brands mainstream conservative and Christian groups as hate groups, placing them on a map with chapters of the Ku Klux Klan, added a slew of parental rights organizations to the hate map for 2022 and labeled them anti-government groups.
Yeah, anti-government because you don't want your kids getting diddled by a bunch of teachers.
Jesus Christ. Spud Gun, thank you for the donation with no message. If you meant to say something, just toss it in the chat. I'll do my best to catch it. Schools especially have been on the receiving end of ramped up and coordinated hard right attacks, frequently through the guise of parental rights groups, the SBLC's Year in Hate and Extremism report claims. So because what they mean by coordinated hard right attacks is just them coming in and saying the shit you're doing is wrong.
Yeah, how dare you question the state, monkey?
It's not physical violence.
It's emotional violence.
Oh, what a bunch of dicks. These groups were in part spurred by the right-wing backlash to COVID-19 public safety measures in schools. You mean the bullshit that was unneeded?
Shush with your hate facts. You're gonna get in trouble.
No, I can point to the actual CDC, the WHO, all of their data backs me up on the fact that children were not in any kind of real danger.
They were in danger from it was a pandemic of the unvaccinated, monkey. Just accept it.
The people who were in danger were teachers who had to go to school and teachers who were excessively fat.
Well, you fat phobic monstrosity! How dare you! How dare you!
It was always funny during the COVID days. We're like, this 30-year-old teacher died, and they'd show the picture, but it'd only be the head. Yeah, like that bitch weighs 600 pounds, don't she? And then we'd see the full body. Like, yeah, she didn't die because she was 30 and exposed to COVID. She died because her heart was probably on the way out anyway.
Yeah, like she died of Twinkies, not COVID.
Yeah.
COVID may have been there, but it was an accessory more than the primary.
Yeah, she could have got a common cold and the same thing would have happened.
Yeah. She's perfectly
that's not
healthy.
saying she didn't have COVID, and yes, that was a contributing factor to her death, but the main reason was she weighed too much.
It always makes me think of that guy that died in a motorcycle accident who had COVID when they counted him.
Yes. And then they had to walk it back. They actually said, and this is not a joke, with that motorcycle one, because when it first gets questioned, they're like, I'm not sure why it was counted. Maybe it was because he had COVID and coughed, and that caused the accident.
Yeah,
That is 100% true. You can look that shit up.
yeah. Are you related to Plastic Man? Because that reach was unbelievably inhuman.
And then they had to come out and reverse it and be like, yeah, it wasn't because of COVID. Yeah, dirty shits. Anyway, but they have grown into an anti-student inclusion movement that targets any inclusive curriculum that contains discussions of race, discrimination, and LGBTQ identities.
So they're opposed to the narrative and the communist bullshit. So we have to put them on a hate group campaign list.
At the forefront of this mobilization is Moms for Liberty, a Florida-based group with vast connections, Jack.
Oh, this is the new Tea Party, isn't it?
Did I say anti-stew? I probably didn't enunciate properly. Where are we? Did it vast connections to the GOP that this year the SPLC designated as an extremist group because they have connections to the GOP?
Yep. Look, the
They can be
GOP is
spotted.
what.
They can be spotted at school board meetings across the country wearing shirts and carrying signs that declare, "We do not co-parent with the government." Those fuckers.
Yeah, how dare they question the state? Look, you have ties to the lazy do nothing GOP, you monsters. Imagine if they were actually tied to a group that tried to do stuff.
Yeah, this is insane. This
Yes,
is
it is.
absolutely insane.
They need to maintain their witch hunt in order to secure funding, monkeys. So you have to find witches if you want to be funded as a witch hunter.
Thank you, Spud Gun. Can you lob this to Jack, please? Only Jack loves the chat. Monkey just puts up with us. No, if that was true, I'd turn off the chat.
Thanks, Spud.
Our kids are our own kids. Extremist, right? Right. The SPLC's 2022 report released Tuesday includes a new designation, the anti-government group movement. Wait a minute. Wait. Is Antifa on their list?
No, they're good boys. They do nothing. They're an idea. Don't be Tim Pool, monkey.
I would never be Tim Pool. I'm a man. Furry Kitten, thank you. Where are the died with athlete's foot statistics? Because they have had a fungal lesion in the last 28 days. Inquiring minds want to know. Well, we never look at those. It's the dreaded unspoken pandemic of athlete's foot. Anti-government group. You know how many anti-government groups are out there that are left-wing? And literally anti-government, all government, they say.
They're good boys. Didn't do nothing. Those are just ideas, monkey. You can't stop an idea, man.
Viking says better hair than Tim Pool too. My balls have better hair than Tim Pool.
Your balls have more hair than Tim Pool.
They really do. Anti-government. We watched as the Antifa folks told us they're not for Biden or Trump or anyone else. They actually want to destroy the government as a whole.
Yeah. They even said liberals get the bullet too.
Yeah. I mean, they were lying because they all voted for Biden, but that's what they said. That was their rhetoric. I wonder if does anybody know is Antifa on the SPLC list?
I don't think they are. I think Moms for Liberty should absolutely sue them for this.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Is this the actual from the director? 2 weeks after the deadly January 6, 2021 insurrection, I joined SPLC to head its historic work to track, expose, and counter hate and extreme. Homie, calm down. Extremism in the United States with our democracy in crisis and the danger of former President Donald Trump's big lie. You're the SPLC. You guys should be calling out the phrase "the big lie" as a Nazi term.
No, instead they're using it.
By the way, that's absolutely true. The Nazis referred to the Jews' big lie. Look it up. I was hopeful both parties' political leaders would choose to protect our nation from extremists. I was wrong.
Yeah, they let Antifa run amok.
2 years post-insurrection, GOP leaders have unabashedly welcomed notorious anti-Semites. You said big lie right up here, you little shit. Conspiracy theorists and white nationalists. We want to cross the Rubicon. We want total war. We must be prepared to do battle in every arena, in the media, in the courtroom, at the ballot box, and on the street. New York Young Republican Club President Gavin Wax declared at the organization's December Black Tie Gala. Have you heard of the Young Republicans Club President Gavin Wax?
I've never heard that name before, I don't think.
I know what the Young Republicans Club is. I do not know. Yeah. He's oof. De Blasio? No. De Blasio's anti-Jewishness was okay with them.
Yeah, because he's a Democrat.
His Jew hate was fine because COVID. This is not idle chatter. Over half of Republicans responded to a June 2022 SPLC and Tulshan research poll reportedly believing the U.S. is headed towards civil war. Never mind. Threatened by the growing power of increasing diversity. Many on the right seek to return to an America before the Civil Rights Act of 64. Did you ask that in your poll? Did you say, do you want to return to America pre-Civil Rights Act 64? I doubt you did.
No, what they said was, do you think that people are more divided and it could turn into a civil war? Probably something like that. And people are like, oh yeah, people are super divided because everybody calls me a Nazi all the time now.
In 2022, the hard right movement mobilized hate and extremists from the mainstream to Main Street. Extremist actors, often armed, where?
Like Antifa?
Often brought hatred into our daily lives and public spaces, protesting LGBT. Oh, are they talking about when the Proud Boys went to that one dick hanging in front of children and had the guns on their shirts?
Probably. Not the times that the Antifa showed up to protect drag events carrying actual rifles.
Do you guys remember that story? They were mad. They had guns on their shirts. They actually said that out loud.
Yeah. Well, that's how pussy of a society we live in now.
They had guns on their shirts.
Images are violence.
Protesting LGBT inclusion, reproductive rights, and classroom discussions of systemic racism. Oh, fuck right up. Where's your list? I don't care to listen to more of this idiot. I want the list. I want to see. Oh, this is just a really long letter by this bitch. I don't care. I'll throw this into chat if you guys care about it. It's kind of funny though. Can that bitch be more overly dramatic?
Look, hyperbole is what they specialize in over there.
They really do. Was that ugly chick down there? Was that the actual president here that we're looking at?
Probably.
Yeah, Susan Cork. This her? Yep. That's her. That lady looks like she needs an orgasm desperately.
Yeah, she looks like a Karen.
I don't know where my clit is. Find it and make the world a better place. Oh, that's not good, but not unexpected, I suppose. Iran joins the tiny club of nations with hypersonic missiles. Why not?
It's probably because they're hanging out with the Russians and the Chinese now. So they're probably got the technology from them.
Of course, that's where they got it. They do not have the advanced technology themselves to pull off that shit.
No.
Iran on Tuesday claimed it had joined the club of those very few nations which have hypersonic weapons in their arsenal. Currently, it's believed only Russia, China, and the United States possess them. I thought we were still, from what we last heard, we're still a little bit away from it.
Apparently, we have kind of shitty ones.
What, we buy them from the Russians too?
Probably.
Furry Kitten, thank you again. Antifa and their brutalist treatment in Germany in the 1930s led to the brown shirts, SA as a defense against them, and also led to the formation and stability of the NASDP, self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yep.
Antifa helped get Hitler elected.
Yep. It's because they were violent psycho commies, and
Yeah.
Hitler's entire platform was we're socialists, but we're not communist.
Oh God, man, I saw some. I got to stop watching YouTube videos. I saw a YouTube video yesterday where they were explaining that Hitler, he was a National Socialist Workers' Party, but it wasn't communism. I was like, that is a distinction without a difference. What the fuck are you talking about? They were just different forms of commie.
Well, technically, they're different forms of socialist, which is fascism is a slight variation on communism. That's it. That's the main difference. Is there's a few minor distinct differences. That's the totality of it. They both evolve into totalitarian dickbags. There's no way around that. They are both socialist organizations.
In the 1930s, when the power struggle's going on there in Germany, it is the communists versus the Nazis. Two sides of the same fucking coin.
Yeah, they were both socialist groups that were effectively they're both communists, but the fascists draw a slight distinction on how they operate that makes them a little different than the regular Russian communists.
Nazism is far from communism. I'm going to need you to explain how. The socialist aspects, the government control, the killing people who disagree, the taking of land that's not yours. Which part? Because if you remember, after World War II, I saw this too, Jack. They said after World War II, all of the countries were given back. Like, really? The Soviet Union would like to have a discussion with you about that.
Yeah, about that whole Iron Curtain thing. Yeah, I'm sure Berlin, half of it, would definitely have a disagreement there.
Yeah, part of Germany was still fucking Russian after the war. And up until what? The 90s?
89, 90, somewhere in there.
50 fucking years. Well, 45 years.
Yeah,
their
German
economy was capitalist.
Was a big deal. Sorry, what'd you say?
Matt is telling me that the Nazis had a capitalist economy.
Not really, because the government nationalized most everything.
Yeah, it's very much like Venezuela. Venezuela claims to only be socialist.
Yeah, well,
yeah, ask
that's
about the oil fields.
It's one of the illusions of fascism is that it creates the illusion of there is limited private enterprise, but it's all overseen by the government with the option of nationalization. It's sort of what China does now, where the government has a hand in your business, but they generally leave it alone.
They can take it
do something they don't like.
They can take it at any moment.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally what happened in Venezuela. They decided the government needs all the oil because that's where all the money is coming from. So they nationalized every single bit of it. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Everybody should read The Doctrine of Fascism by Mussolini.
Thank you, Frank. Just as capitalist as communism say the USSR was. I mean, you can make the argument that they didn't take over everything. Okay. But okay. Just going to ask this one more time. What is socialism?
It's a woman.
According to Karl Marx, it is a step from capitalism to
communism.
Anyone? Yes, communism. It's a stepping stone. It's much like trans. It's not the end goal. It's the road there. Anyhow, American government confiscated all the gold. We took all the gold.
Not all of it. We couldn't find that train load of it that went missing.
Didn't some of that shit end up in Switzerland or Sweden?
Switzerland, yeah.
Yeah. They had to give it back 30 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Iran. Oh, well, I mean, I don't know that there's much more to this article than that.
No, it's hit the main points.
Iran having supersonic missiles, or sorry, hypersonic missiles, isn't much of a threat to us at the moment. The Jews should be scared if that's true.
Why Jews have nukes?
Because they're the ones that it would be aimed at. That's why.
Yeah, but they'll just drop a nuke on them.
It's just, I mean, it's not that it shouldn't be concerning to us at all, but we have bigger concerns. The Iranians and the Jews really don't like each other.
No, they really don't.
I really don't want to read this headline. All right. Portland Anne Frank impersonating drag queen.
Yeah.
I don't want to read past that.
I know you don't, but it's the headline just gets better as you go.
Portland Anne, yeah, I read it before I brought it up. Portland Anne Frank impersonating drag queen, trans activist arrested for murder in Virginia. That's a mouthful.
Now, if you're an Anne Frank impersonator, does nobody know because you're hanging out in an attic the whole time?
Yeah, instead of being in the closet, you're in the attic all the time.
Yeah, well, maybe in the closet attic because drag queen trans activist.
What kind of fucked up individual do you have to be a Anne Frank impersonator?
In drag.
Confused.
You're a drag queen Anne Frank impersonator. There's a lot of deep-rooted psychological issues going on here. Like some therapist is going to build a pool after putting his kids through college.
And probably a yacht. I mean, that's some deep-seated shit.
Oh, yeah.
Foreign native says confused Anne Frank for Lizzie Borden. Well, they didn't say she killed her parents. On Saturday, Michael Horowitz was arrested after fatally stabbing his father. Okay, I stand corrected. The headline didn't say he killed his parents, okay? Okay, that was a setup. That was a setup.
It was a setup.
Oh, man.
I like to just find these little grenades sometime and just lob them into your side chat, and you'd have no idea they're there.
Frosted Glass, thank you. It's easy to dress as a girl and play dead. I didn't say it wasn't easy. I'm saying it's disgusting. And Frank, not Anne Frank. Frank, thank you so much. I was agreeing with you. I just argued with a retard pipe-smoking dog about how fascism was left-wing and Nazis were socialist. I've also argued with many communists who claim USSR was state capitalism, not communism. Same thing in reality. I didn't know that I wasn't disagreeing with you that I remember. Now I have to go back and see what was said because I don't believe
matter.
It does. I don't want somebody. Oh no, yeah, you said just as capitalist as the communists were. Yeah, I didn't think you were disagreeing with me.
Yeah, I want you to suffer more with this article.
The 34-year-old who identifies as a transgender woman and goes by the name Nora has been charged with second-degree murder and stabbing in the commission of a felony. According to the Virginia Beach Police Department, officers were called to the 1300 block of Wren Place just before 9 a.m. Saturday. When they arrived, they discovered Dr. Horowitz, 68, suffering from multiple stab wounds. First responders performed immediate medical treatment, but to no avail. He was pronounced dead at 9:13. Wow, 13 minutes after the police were called. So they had to have just got there.
Yeah.
God damn. In their release, the Virginia Beach Police Department noted Horowitz's full legal name, but added Nora in parentheses. Is this going to be another one where we have to be like, hey, don't dead name the murderer?
Yeah, we're going to have to have a protest that dead named a murderer.
Horowitz was also listed as female, and authorities noted that she was being held in custody at the Virginia Beach jail. According to Redux, Horowitz appeared in court Monday and was assigned a public defender after expressing that as a low-income worker, Hiring a lawyer was too expensive. Should have just went into hiding in an attic.
Right?
Dr. Horowitz was a dentist and served as president of the Hebrew. Oh, this is a hate crime. The Hebrew Academy of Tidewater and president of the United Jewish Federation of Tidewater. I know where Tidewater is. I've been there many times.
Oh.
Used to go to the Tidewater Tides games when that's what they were called. I think they're now the Norfolk Tides. Anyway, the art of dentistry, Dr. Horowitz's practice, said in a biography that he was married to his wife for over 25 years, with the two having 3 children. Wait, you're a Jew? You're a Jew who was an Anne Frank impersonator?
Yeah, did you just catch that?
Yeah, my brain hadn't put those two together. You are a Jewish Anne Frank impersonator who killed a Jew.
Well, I think if you were a German man and you were an Anne Frank impersonator, that would be tasteless.
Oh my God. No, I find this to be even more tasteless than that. Monkey missed the whole Horowitz part. Yeah, I for the record, I don't pay attention to most last names like that. Just because that last names don't mean a whole lot. It's not like 500 years ago, Jack, where a last name would put you in a specific region of the world. We've spread out.
That's true.
Michael Horowitz was also a drag performer under the name. No. Menorah Horowitz in Portland, Oregon. Horowitz wrote a series of stories for the Portland Mercury in June 2017 regarding Pride Month. In 2016, Horowitz performed alongside drag queen Sharon Needles, who was on the 4th season of RuPaul's Drag Race.
Yeah. Sharon Needles.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is Portland. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Horowitz also published a book titled The Diary of Menorah Horowitz, which describes his combination of Judaism and a love for drag in all the wrong ways when he becomes Menorah. Portland's premier Anne Frank impersonator. How many do they have?
I don't know, but the fact they have one is too many. Because that's weird, man. That is really weird. I'm going as a 14-year-old girl that was a victim of the concentration camps. Come on. Show some decorum, for God's sake. That's a little fucked up.
The book's artwork shows Horowitz with candles taped to his fingers, surrounded by a number of objects, including female hormones, a baby having an umbilical cord cut, but the cord has been replaced with a hot dog and a bottle labeled Jew wine. I can't. I just fucking can't. Dressed in schoolgirl's uniform, stripper heels, and nails made from burning candles taped to his fingers, Michael explores Portland's queer and punk party scene, one bad lip sync at a time, the synopsis said, adding that not everyone is happy with Michael's new alter ego, specifically his very supportive family. Michael's creative detour takes a detour of its own when he realizes that Menorah isn't a persona, but a suggestion of the person he always wanted to be. What began as an imitation of someone famous for speaking their truth becomes a transition into his, or rather her, authentic self.
That's not what happened at all.
Is Anne Frank famous for speaking her truth?
No, she's famous for writing a diary. Let's be honest. That's what it was. It was a diary that her dad pulled parts out that he thought were a little inappropriate because she had thoughts about a boy, and then published it. And it was sad and made everybody sad because we all know the kid died in the camps. So, not really speaking her truth. She just wrote a
She was
diary.
she was famous for hiding from the fucking Nazis.
Yeah,
And
like
there being
Frosty
a
said, she's famous for keeping quiet.
yeah, she wrote a diary that it gave us a glimpse into what that life was like from a child.
Yeah, she was like 14, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Ebony's 100% correct. This is ghoulish
This
on
is fucking
multiple levels, by the way.
so many levels before we even get to her stabbing her father to death or his father. Fuck you. I'm not giving you that respect. Before he stabs his dad to death. Fuck me.
Yeah, first of all, sexy Anne Frank is not a thing. It's a teenage
Yeah,
girl.
Anne Frank was a child.
Yeah. You're turning it into a drag performance, which makes it sexual and much more adult oriented. Then you put candles on your fingers and start making weird comments about speaking your truth. You have deep rooted issues, buddy. Aside from stabbing your dad to death. Oh, hi, Keeper Dan.
Anne Frank would have wanted this. Yes, that's oh my god. What the fuck is wrong with people? And the last one looks like a video which we can't do now,
Yeah,
but it looks like it's Rome Girls back.
indeed.
Awesome.
Save it for next time.
Yeah, hopefully we can use the other connection next time. Oh, she's still so cute.
She's still dumb too. Did you see the fights breaking out in Glendale, California?
No, I'm sorry. I was just this. She starts this video talking about the difference between Time Team and Ancient Aliens, and she says Ancient Aliens doesn't destroy archaeological sites in the process.
Yes.
Have you seen Time Team?
Yes.
They're very careful about their dig sites.
I know. Because
What
they
the
have a very cunning plan. Blackadder fans will get that one.
I'll have to watch the rest of that later. No, why is
Save it for next time.
why is there fighting in Glendale?
So there's some protests going on over a vote for pride events at the school board meeting. And some LGBT activists showed up, and so did the anti-LGBT activists. The anti-LGBT activists were made up mostly of Armenians. And Antifa was there to start a fight. And they started a fight with a bunch of fucking Armenians, which is a great way to get your ass kicked. Have you ever seen Armenians other than Shank? They're usually pretty tough looking. And they're mean. Don't start shit with Armenians. Shut up, Baldrick. You can't make me. But thanks for getting the joke, Frosted. Yeah, so they started a big brawl outside of the school with this Armenian group. And predictably, Antifa was getting their ass kicked, so the police had to bail them out.
Well, that's just going to lead to a whole lot of wonderful Antifa videos that they'll be crying about. Did you see what they did to us? They were so mean.
I mean, it was a big fight. There were a couple hundred people there, and the cops were way outnumbered. So, yeah, they're having this vote. Apparently, even in California, some of the shit's not popular. So they had fights on Friday too, with more than 100 parents rallying against a Pride Day assembly.
Oh, smack!
You're watching the video?
I'm watching some of it. Yeah, I can't put it on screen because I don't trust YouTube. Some of these little Antifa fuckers are getting the shit kicked out of them.
Yeah. I'm telling you, Armenians. I mean, they have a very nasty mafia. First of all. But you do not want to fuck with Armenians because they are rather passionate people when it comes to the fisticuffs.
Oh, dude, in this video, at the end of it, they arrest the Antifa guy.
Yeah, that kind of surprised me. A couple of Antifa actually got arrested. But they did arrest some Armenian guys too, which they're going to get bailed out because Armenians are very collectivist. Real quick, though, thank you, Understatement. Whenever he ends his act, the music should stop. There should just be knocking for 2 minutes. Yes, I'm a terrible person.
Yeah, that would be. It's just, it's so gross, you know?
I know, man. I know.
I mean, like you said, A drag performance, whether they want to admit it or not, is a sexual thing. And you sexualized Anne Frank, you disgusting piece of shit.
Yeah, it's bad enough that you're sexualizing a teenage girl. You're uh, sexualizing a teenage girl that was murdered by the Nazis.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I'll make fun of Helen Keller all goddamn day because she was a bitch, but she was also like an adult. I don't know. There's a lot of things wrong with trying to sexualize Anne Frank. It's just tasteless.
Now, I'm sorry, guys. We're going to wrap up the show because I'm just here watching videos. Guys, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us. Look up Glendale on Twitter. You'll find all kinds of videos. I'm guessing you could do it on Google as well. Thank you guys for coming and joining us tonight. Sorry we had to drop the Anne Frank thing on you.
I'm not sorry.
I'm glad we did this show, or the story, but that's fucking gross.
That's very gross, which is why more people need to know about it.
How can you look at something like that and say, no, there's no mental problem there? Anyhow, thank you guys for the donations. You guys are so very generous. We really do appreciate it. It was aliens all along, guys. It was aliens all along. Jack, anything you'd like to show?
I got nothing today, but thank you all for the donations. You're very generous, and we do appreciate it quite a bit. And I apologize for nothing, but thank you all for coming out and listening.
I mean, that was one I feel like we should have warned them about a little bit. Hey, guys, we're gonna tell you. That is one of the grossest things we've ever read on this show.
I know, and it takes a lot to get to that point.
Yeah, we've read about guys who shove cords down their pee hole.
Yeah, we read about that guy with the poop knife.
Anyhow, guys, I'll be over on twitch.tv/ranting monkey. This is Tuesday night, right? Into Wednesday?
Yes.
Happy hump day, guys. Be over on twitch.tv/ranting monkey playing some Phasmophobia. Don't forget, next week on Monday, it's the day Nuts has been waiting for, probably more than me. Alpha 21 drops, and we'll be playing some 7 Days to Die. It's coming up Monday. Can't wait. Now, it is still possible that there could be some problem that they notice with the streamers weekend, and it has to be pushed back. But as long as it goes live, I'm going live with it. So,
we can't wrap up yet.
I just saw Mando says it's my boy's birthday. Is there a name? And while we're doing that, 5, thank you for the donation. Let me get it up on the screen here. In Pennsylvania, in Reading, they arrested a man for quoting scripture towards a pride event. Freedom of speech and religion is out the window for the state religion. We discussed that story earlier, maybe an hour ago, Jack?
Believe so, yeah.
Yeah, about an hour ago. If you check back, we did cover that story. You can quickly go back and just look for the headline. Yeah, it's fucking gross, and that police officer needs to lose his fucking job over that.
Yep.
Because he was absolutely 100% wrong. Twitch.tv/ranting monkey playing Phasmophobia just a little bit with my favorite hobo, Bubba Hotep. Thank you for joining me, Jack.
Oh, I'm always glad to be here.
I'm so glad you made it before the alien stuff was over, because it's always more fun to talk aliens with you.
Yeah, I have a lot of fun talking about aliens.
I can riff forever by myself, but there's certain topics that, well, I always like you here. There's certain topics like Jack has to be here for that.
Yeah, like this conversation would not have been as fun if you found that Anne Frank article on your own. So,
oh, no. I probably wouldn't even have brought it up on the screen for very long.
I know. I trick you into things. It's fun.
I would have just been like, some asshole was dressed as Anne Frank and killed their Jewish dad. Because that's now a thing, y'all.
Yeah. But it's Coulson and Loki's birthday.
Coulson and Loki, this is for you. And a 1 and a 2. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Coulson and Loki. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Hope you have a great one. Really, really do. Enjoy the day. It's birthdays, and birthdays are always great. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for tonight. Thanks for joining us. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see y'all next time.
Real quick. Thank you, understatement. One more. He should put some writing near his crotch that says, "You know where they're hiding." On that note, have a good night, everybody.
See you guys.